What up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of the What's Up Brodey podcast. This episode, we had Mark MacQueen on. This was super cool. I think genuinely this might be the best episode that I've done yet. I fucking love this episode. I haven't shut up about it. Dude has won, powerlifting worlds. He won it at 22 years old. Now he's made a transition to jiu-jitsu. He's been training for about 7 years. And he's finding himself in the ADCC World Championship again for the second time in a row. The dude's just a monster. He is the pinnacle of when technique is equal, then strength will win. Or the strength is the teeter there, or the teeter on the totter, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. I don't know. But nonetheless, being strong matters. And Mark MacQueen proves that. He's an absolute brick shithouse. Dude is 6'3", 275 pounds. He's strong. But yeah, I mean, I love this episode. It was super cool to talk to him. And hopefully the next time we do this, he'll be officially living in the United States. But I hope y'all enjoy this episode. Shirts. We have shirts for sale. They're $25. And more than happy to ship one to you. You can come pick it up. I can drop it off to you. Whatever's easier. Happy to do either or all three or any of the three. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore, but we're just going to keep it rolling, man. Shout out to our partners, though. First one being Redmond's. Dude, their stuff is fantastic. I actually don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast yet, or like shown this in particular, but this is their protein powder. It's phenomenal. It's all real ingredients. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients in it. It's fantastic. It's sweetened with maple sugar. It's absolutely delicious. And if you put it, I'm going to give you a little insider tip right here. If you put it in orange juice, it's phenomenal. So use code Brodey for 15% off at checkout, or you can click the link in my bio on Instagram. It'll take you straight to the shop and apply the code automatically. Next partner, Mil Usos. Look, there's a reason why on this spray it says undefeated. It's because this is genuinely the best skincare products I've ever used. I use their charcoal bar. I use the spray. And then I also have their moisturizer as well. And it's absolutely fantastic. When I started TRT, my back started to break out pretty badly. I switched over to this. It's the only products that touch my skin, my hair, my beard, my body. The acne on my back has cleared up. The redness is gone. It's just incredible. And it did that in a week. So, yeah, I mean, there's too many good things to say. So use code Jordan for 15% off at checkout. There's also a link in my bio. And it'll take you directly to the shop. But on that one, you do still need to use code Jordan in order to get the 15% off. So go check both of those out, Redmond's and Mil Usos. Hope y'all enjoy the episode. Let me know what you think below. And also make sure to like, subscribe, and also go follow the Spotify page. Awesome, y'all. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Sweet. So we always just start with like a little jiu-jitsu clap to sync the cameras.
Okay.
So you got to clap with me. You can't leave me hanging. And then I'll do a little intro, and then we'll just get fucking rolling.
Perfect.
Talk some shit and have some fun. Cool.
Let's
do it, Mark. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Woo!
Mark, what's going on, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks.
Yeah, I've got a rest day today, so it's always a good day.
Dude, yeah, I mean, you need it after yesterday. 10 rounds of 1 minute and 38, 500-meter rows.
My PB on it is actually 135 for all 10. I did that before ADCC Worlds 2024.
Okay.
But the difference was, one, I wasn't doing as much jiu-jitsu back then. So just like, my what my schedule was back then, I wasn't doing quite as many sessions. It's also not as hard as now. And then also, I was doing it first thing on a Friday morning. So that was the first session of the day. And a Thursday was like a lower stress day. Whereas now I do it on a Saturday. And I've got, obviously, the pro session in the morning, and then I go get some food, and then I go and do the rowing. And it's the end of the week. It's the final session of the week. So I'm not quite as fresh, so I don't think I'll ever be able to beat 135. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, before trials, I hit 136 for all 10, like, you know, maybe 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. So my goal is always to just, you know, be able to, you know, peak at 136.
Yeah, okay.
And then I'm happy with that, because it's like the 14th or 15th session of the week and I'm exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it, man. How often are you doing the row machine, like the 10 rounds?
Just once a week, every Saturday.
So you do that every Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you been doing that for?
Oh, a long time now. I would say I started doing it after the first ADCC trials I went to, which I think was 4 years ago. I think I've been doing it for about 4 years, and in those 4 years I've not missed a week, every single week.
No shit.
Yeah.
So every Saturday, or one of the days, right? So one day a week. What have you noticed from doing that's translated to your jiu-jitsu?
So I'd say the first thing is it's obviously just improve my cardio massively. Now, that I don't think improving your cardio necessarily always, you know, translates like immediately to grappling, because if you're not being efficient, you know, if you're not, you know, if you're not particularly good, or you're not able to be like efficient in grappling, then I think you can still be really fit, but then still get absolutely, you know, exhausted on the mats. But I'd say the first thing is that it's obviously improved my cardio a lot. So that's helped massively, especially as I've got better and I like to think are hopefully more efficient. It's helped that. But I'd say honestly the biggest thing that I think I've noticed it helps with is the fitter I've got, the more my work capacity is improved. So the more I can recover from harder training and more training. I'd say that's like the biggest benefit I've noticed. Of course, like the cardio aspect of it has helped massively with grappling. I'd say, you know, as a heavyweight, you know, in my experience, the people I come up against, I would say I'm usually always fitter than. So I think that's been a positive thing for me. But I'd say the biggest impact has been work capacity.
Interesting. So just like you've noticed that your week, not necessarily is easier, but you're able to recover better just the whole week.
Yeah.
Just from doing the rowing once a week.
Yeah, so it's improved my work capacity immensely. And, you know, the fitter I've got, the more I've improved my work capacity, the more, you know, well, now I'm doing, you know, 2 a days, you know, 5 days a week, one on Saturday, and then cardio once, lift 3 times.
Yep. Okay.
You know, I don't really think I could, there's not enough hours in the day to do more than that.
Yeah.
But the fitter I get and the more I do it, the better I can recover from it.
Interesting. And how often, or is that the hardest of your cardio workouts throughout the week?
Yeah, it's the only one. So I just do that cardio once per week, and then obviously with the grappling, that, you know, that's twice a day, and technically that's cardio as well. But like just cardio only, it's just that once a week.
And then are you still lifting throughout the week?
Yeah, 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're doing that on the days that you're having 2 grappling sessions as well, or how's that broken down?
Yeah, so my schedule's literally the same every week. So Monday's a double jiu-jitsu, lift weights at night. Tuesday's double jiu-jitsu, Wednesday's double jiu-jitsu, lift weights at night. Thursday's double jiu-jitsu, lift weights at night. Friday's jiu-jitsu, and then Saturday's jiu-jitsu in the morning, cardio, and then Sunday off. And that's the same every week.
Hell yeah. Okay. Damn.
So it's quite a lot.
That's a lot of sessions.
Yeah. So when I get to Sunday and I've got, you know, all week I look forward to Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot wait for Sunday to come just to
I believe
have a rest. I'm like, I can't wait for it. And then it's the same thing. It gets to Sunday, before I know it, it's like 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. And I'm like, where's the day gone? I don't understand. Like, it feels like 1 second, and then I need to go to bed, and then I'm like, I've got the whole week in front of me again. And it just repeats itself every single week.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
You're getting ready for the big show.
Yeah.
So this is your second time at ADCC Worlds?
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. How old are you?
I'm 31.
31, okay.
Yeah.
So 31, how long you been grappling for?
7 years, just over 7 years. Pretty much 7 years, like 1 month.
Okay.
So not actually very long.
Yeah, not that long at all.
No, not really.
What got you into jiu-jitsu?
So I did powerlifting, and then when I was 24, I just, you know, at that point I felt like I was like, I hate this. I hate it. But it wasn't actually lifting weights. Like, I love lifting weights. I just hated like the lifestyle that came with it, and you know, I'd already won worlds and stuff, and you know, I just didn't really want to do it anymore, and I was so heavy. You know, I was like, I'll say kilos, so I was 150 kilos.
Yeah.
So that's like 330 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was awful. And I was living down in a place called Leeds, so, you know, Northern England. So I wasn't like in my home country in Scotland. And the only people I knew did powerlifting. And the only people that I would ever see was them at the gym. But because I'd stopped powerlifting, and I still had, you know, four months left in my lease down there, I was like, well, I'm basically not going to leave, or I'm not going to see anybody ever, because the gym I started going to for weights, which is like a local gym where I didn't know anybody, and my brother, he lived in Australia at the time. He was a blue belt at jiu-jitsu, and I was like, I think I'll just do some jiu-jitsu.
Fuck it, let's give it a shot.
It's something different. I was like, something different. It'll help me lose weight. I was like, and it'll get me out the flat, and like, you know, yeah, because I'm like, otherwise I'm just gonna be confined to a flat, and I'm like, I don't really know anyone down here, don't see anybody, so I'm like, something different. And then here we are, 7 years later. I'm now in Austin.
Yeah, training with the best guys in the world.
Yeah.
Dude, that's got to be a trip, huh?
Yeah.
For, I guess, how much do you walk around? Like, what do you walk around at right now?
In pounds?
Kilos is fine.
Kilos like 125.
So yeah, about what, 260?
275.
275?
Yeah. Maybe I've not weighed myself since I've been here, so maybe a little bit less or maybe a little bit more. I actually don't know. But yeah, I'd say safe about 270, 275.
You're a massive fucking dude. Holy shit. You're like what, 6'4", 6'5"?
6'3".
6'3", yeah. You're a massive fucking dude. Holy shit. Did you see, before we get too far, oh, she walked away. She must have went to go get the kid. Before we get too far, did you see, I think it might have been yesterday, the powerlifting championship or something went on?
Colton competing in total in the 1,250, was it 1,225 kilos?
Yeah, dude.
He squatted 455 in sleeves.
Yes.
Colton Engelbrandt.
That's who I was showing you last night.
And then I think he bench pressed 277.5.
Yeah,
and then he deadlifted 492.5. Insane.
Insane.
Crazy.
That's
genuinely
insane.
Crazy. Yeah. And I think he weighed 100, there he is. He weighed 100 and, no.
It was something that I showed you yesterday. It's fine. It was on Twitter. Like they were talking about
he maybe hasn't posted it yet.
Yeah. So was this the new world record? Is that like?
Oh, I mean, it's not even known. You know, nobody's close.
Really?
No. And he weighed 125.1 kilos as well.
Wow. So he's not even.
So he's super. He's like in great. He's like super lean and phenomenal shape. Like phenomenal shape. Yeah, that's him.
No shit.
There it is. There, 1,225. 1,225 kilos.
Dude, that's
crazy.
Yeah, because so in pounds, that's like, that's what I was telling you last night. It's like 2,695, like 2,695 pounds that he did between bench, deadlift, and squat.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nobody close. And the thing is, as well, is, you know, it used to be, not so much now, it's a lot better now, but even when I was, you know, like heavily, you know, in powerlifting, and myself included, you know, people that were lifting the most weight were like morbidly obese. Yeah. In terrible shape.
Just big guys.
Yeah.
Heart's ready to just get out.
To be fair, like I wasn't a drug tested federation, so you're going to be a little bit more obese and a little bit, you know, out of shape, but that by no stretch of the imagination does that, you know, even if anyone that I was competing against, or you know, in the IPF that was drug tested, you give them those drugs, they're not going to be capable of that. Yeah. You know, so it's like, you know, I'm not like downplaying how impressive it is. I can't even articulate how impressive it is. Genuinely, it's insane.
Because there's obviously guys who can beat him in the individual list.
He's went into the 140 class, but he's not a 140 lifter. He weighed 125.1, so the weight class below that is 125 kilos.
And so he just didn't. He
weighed 0.1 over to go into that category.
He pulled a Kurt Angle. Do you know that story?
No.
Kurt Angle refused to cut 1 pound at the Olympics for wrestling. And so he chose to wrestle in the heavyweight.
Is that because he thought he had a better chance?
He just didn't. He just refused. He told the story on Joe Rogan. If I remember correctly, he just didn't want to do it. He just didn't want to cut that pound.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And so he wrestled up for that reason.
And he won? Yeah.
With a broken neck.
With a broken neck.
It's fucking insane.
I still remember, I love the takedown at the end that got him. One of the, the way he faked for one leg and then low single another, it was phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, phenomenal. But that guy is absolutely, I can't even nobody's close.
Just a unit.
Nobody's close. So
there's obviously guys who can beat him in one of the single lifts.
Not
right?
really.
Like even deadlift, right? Like Eddie Hall or
yeah, but they're using a suit and straps.
And so he was doing
raw.
Oh, no grip. I mean no straps.
And no suit. So do you know what deadlift suits are?
Okay.
So in powerlifting, you have raw lifting and equipped lifting. So equipped lifting, for squats, you would wear a squat suit, knee wraps. For a bench press, you'd wear a bench suit, and for a deadlift, you wear a deadlift suit. So basically, the suit is just like a huge canvas material that, when you watch people getting into it, they have to be hoisted into it.
Yeah.
And then it obviously resists any form of stretching. So that when you go down into position, it helps you lift the weight. It adds weight, if that makes sense.
Is it kind of like the elasticity of the material helps you get back up straight?
So, a deadlift suit, out of squat, bench and deadlift, a deadlift suit helps the least.
Okay.
But, a deadlift suit adds kilos to the barbell. There's no doubt about it. You can lift more with a suit than without a suit. So people like Eddie Hall and Thor, which again, their lifts are so, I'm not taking anything away, but they're using a suit and also lifting straps. He's doing that completely raw. He's just doing that in a neoprene singlet and bare hands. So not really, his squat's 455 in sleeves. There's not really anyone, there's a couple of guys that maybe weigh 50, 60 kilos more than him that are going to maybe be able to squat a little bit more. Bench press again, not really. There's some guys that maybe are like bench only guys that could do that. And then deadlift, no one's close. But no, honestly, I would say he's in his own league on all three.
Wow. And so is he been at the top of the game for a while, or is he just kind of getting started?
I'd say he's been at the top for quite a while, but I also feel like he's still just getting started because the progress he's making is nuts.
Do you know how old he is by chance?
No. I'm not sure.
I'm completely ignorant to the world. I just know of sometimes
25 years old.
Wow.
Yes,
is that old or young for the powerlifting? That's young, right?
Very young. He's probably got if he wanted, 15 years.
That's what I was about to say, because you don't peak until 40, right?
Yeah.
That's why powerlifting is crazy. Because the longevity of it potentially is so nuts, because you really don't get your strongest until you're in your 40s.
Yeah, because things fade, reflexes, timing, speed, but strength just keeps going up.
Yeah.
Just keeps going up.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. So you said you kind of switched over. Did you completely just switch over from powerlifting to jiu-jitsu at 24, or were you still kind of competing in both? Or
completely switched.
Really?
Yeah.
You just loved it that much?
Well, I actually hated it when I started.
Yeah, okay,
I just was done with powerlifting. So when I was 22, I won the World Championships.
Okay.
So it was 2017. I won the Commonwealths, I won the Europeans, I won the Worlds. And then the following year, I went up a weight class. So I did that in the under 120 kilo category.
Okay.
The following year, I went up a weight class. And I did my best lifting when I went up.
What up, y'all? I know, interrupting the conversation again. I apologize. Not really, though, because I want to talk to you about a great product. Redmond's toothpaste. I know this is kind of silly, recommending a toothpaste. But, dude, it has completely changed the way my mouth feels. It is a fantastic toothpaste. It's way better than any other toothpaste I've used, and that's just the truth. So you can get yours now as a What's Up Brodey listener. You can get 15% off with code Brodey, or you can follow my bio in my Instagram to check out, and that'll also get you 15% off. Now back to the conversation.
By a mile, my lifting was the strongest, was the best, but I was just so disillusioned with it, had enough, and
what was it about it? Like what you said, you mentioned the lifestyle. I'm familiar with like the bodybuilding lifestyle and kind of the body dysmorphia and the diet sucks. What was it about powerlifting for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I was so heavy, so I was like 150 kilos, and you're just shoveling food all day, like all day, like genuinely all day. It's like, probably 8,000-9,000 calories a day. You're just shoveling food. You just feel terrible, so heavy, so unfit, so out of shape, having to eat so much food, just an awful lifestyle, yeah. And then with powerlifting itself as well, I think, it's very monotonous as well. It's just 3 lifts.
Yeah.
It's just squat, bench, deadlift. Now, yeah, of course, you can, you've got some accessories, you've got variations, but honestly, for me, I pretty much was just squat, bench, and deadlifting, a few accessories, just very monotonous, and just had enough. Just grew to,
I can see how that gets old.
Just hate it. Just was done. And I think as well, the problem was, my dream was I wanted to win worlds. That was my dream. And then, I mean, when you have such an outlandish goal, such a ridiculous goal, I think the only way I can put it into perspective of like how much it meant was if someone said to me, you'll never win worlds, but you'll live till 100, have a nice happy life, but you'll never win worlds, or you win worlds, but you literally come off the podium, you get taken out back, and you get your life's over. What's your decision? To me, I would have been like, that's the most retarded question on the world.
You wanted to win worlds.
I'll just win worlds, because why would I want to exist? I can't live the rest of my life having not won worlds.
Yeah.
So I'll just win worlds, because there's no, because it's just, I just thought that's just so stupid. What a terrible question. And that's how much it meant. So the problem is that when you then won it, you then realise that like nothing actually changes, or nobody really actually cares.
Yeah.
I didn't even, and I know it sounds so bad, I didn't even really care that much.
Interesting.
Like, I won it, and then it's, it was in Belarus, so weird place, really weird place. So it was in Minsk in Belarus, and won, you're out on the podium, national anthem plays, and then before, and then you go home and get showered and changed, and then you go to like because it was the end of the competition, because I was at the heavyweight, so the last people to go. You go to the ceremonial banquet or whatever. But before all changed, and I'm back in a room myself in Minsk, Belarus, just in myself, and it's all over, and it's like you never got to feel like I never got to take it in. It's I never got to take anything in. It's just over, and then before you're home, and then 2 weeks later, it's like life moves on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that it?
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't meant to be like that. Like, what? Like, I won and that's it?
Interesting. And you're walking around and nobody else
cares.
knows. Yeah.
Nobody cares. And of course they don't care. Because why would they care?
Yeah.
Because I think about that myself as well. It's like, like my friends, or my best friends, or my wife, or my brother, or my sister, or my mom. It's like, I couldn't, like, I want them to do things that make them happy. So if my wife's like got a goal or a dream, I would want her to achieve that, but only for her, because I'm like, that's your goal, and that make you happy. But I don't actually care what that is, and I don't actually care whether you get it or not, for me, because it doesn't affect my opinion on you. I just want you to be happy. So if she had like a dream, but then after a few years, she was like, that's no longer my dream, I'm not going to be like gutted and be like, what are you doing? Like, you can't stop. I'd be like, okay, well, if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. Because I don't care about what that is. I just care about her doing something that would make her happy. It's like, well, then why would other people care about what I do? So they don't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
makes sense.
But it's just, and to be fair, I was only 22 years old, so maybe you're young, and but I don't think so, because I think I probably still would feel that way. But you think you're going to win it, and you just think, I was like, that when I win this, it doesn't matter what happens to me for the rest of my life, because I've won it, so it's everything is fine. Nothing else matters. But then it's like, you win it and you're like, well, nothing's changed, that doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
So then like, is that it? You know, I think the problem was you put so much on it and you think that when you do that, then everything's just going to be okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, actually nothing changes.
Yeah, it makes sense. You put so much effort into that one thing because that's what you wanted. And then you hit it at that's a really young age, I feel
22,
like.
yeah. And,
Right?
And
it's like winning ADCC Worlds at 22.
And as well, it's a case of, yeah, you know, that's it. It's the amount you put into it. So, you know, I started lifting weights. I don't remember exactly. I think I was maybe like 14. Because I trained my whole life. You know, like I played rugby when I was younger, and then I played football and I did boxing. Nothing to, you know, a particularly high level in any of the three. I was pretty good at boxing, but I was very lazy. So
how so?
I just didn't train hard, didn't take it seriously, didn't do any card, didn't do any running, didn't do any extracurricular training, and I would just go into fights and I would just gas out in one round. And then I'd do well in one round, and then rounds 2 and 3 I would just get beat up because I was so gassed.
And so what got you into lifting initially then? Was your parent or your dad? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd always, as long as I've been alive, or as long as I can remember being alive, I'd always been obsessed with, like, you know, huge, and this is going to sound very gay, like very gay, but I'd always been obsessed with, like, just like huge, strong, muscular men, and I know that it's very gay.
Oh, dude, it's okay. Like, I was just at House of Gains on Friday morning, and they play like old bodybuilding videos, and you see Arnold without his shirt on hitting a lat pull down, and you're just like, wow, like, people like he really looked like that.
My dad always tells a really funny story. So we were in Mexico. I might get this slightly wrong because I'm remembering him telling me, maybe it wasn't Mexico, but I think it was Mexico. We're in a country, and we're at the beach, and a guy was walking down the beach. So we're walking this way, a guy's walking past us, and again, I don't remember this, I'm just remembering my dad telling me, and I was like very young, maybe like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old, maybe 10 or 11, and my dad said that, like, you would have thought that I'd like just seen like a naked woman for the first time of my life. It's like this guy was walking down, and my dad said he was like huge,
just jacked.
so jacked, lean. And my dad was like, he's like one of the greatest physiques I've ever seen. He's like, you just stopped and like your mouth like dropped open. You just like looked and you just followed him, and you were just in disbelief. And he was like, I would have preferred if, like, you know, that was maybe like you had that reaction with like a naked woman or something like that. I'm maybe a little bit suspect of you now. But yes, I'd always just been so impressed by it and obsessed. And then I did boxing. I don't remember when I started. I think I started when I was maybe like 11 years old, 10 years old. And then in my mum and dad's garage, they got weights. And I think me and my brother, honestly, we started lifting weights at like 11 years old. Nothing crazy, but like there was weights, there was a treadmill in there, and we would lift weights. So I think I started lifting weights when I was like 11. I went to a gym. I think I started going to the gym when I was 14. I think it was 14. And I started taking it like, and then, you know, seriously. And then when I was 16, I fully ruptured my ACL playing football or soccer, and I couldn't play football anymore, couldn't do boxing, you know, and I was having to wait for surgery. So the only thing I could do was lift weights. So then I started taking it really seriously. And then I was lucky as well that when I had the surgery, I got the surgery, and the physio that I got assigned was like, you know, the way that people's ACLs, like surgeries fail is because they don't build up enough muscle and strength. And the woman was like, you know, you need to lift weights and get your leg as strong as possible. Like, you know, that's all I want.
That's great advice.
Yeah, it was. And considering this was, well, I'm 31, so, you know, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, it was none of this like.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, none of this like, you know, like take a band and do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was a case of we need to get the full range of motion back, like instantly. because you've only got, I can't remember exactly when, but you've only got a time frame to get the range of motion back.
Interesting.
And then,
Okay.
I could be wrong in misremembering this as well, but from what I remember, she told me we've only got a short period of time to get this range of motion back, and if you don't get it back, within like a month, usually you don't normally get it back. So,
I mean, that could make sense.
yeah, I'm not sure that's true. I mean, people can fact check on that for sure.
There's probably some validity to it.
I remember like 2 days after surgery, physio started.
Yeah, okay.
And I had genuinely no flexion in my knee, like no flexion. And she was like, you know, you need to give me exercises, so you should maybe put a towel around it and you start pulling on it. But it's like, she's like, you know, you're not going to break it, so don't worry. But she's like, you have to like force it. And you have to start forcing the flexion. I remember doing it and feeling like I'm going to like literally snap my knee to pieces here. But then as soon as I started to get range of motion, she had me doing like some resistance exercises, and then it just built up. And she was like, you need to be like doing leg press. Once you know there's stability, doing squats. Once there's more stability, doing single leg resistance stuff, and you need to get as strong as possible. And yeah, basically I just got obsessed with the gym.
Yeah.
And then I started like YouTubing, like, you know, people that lifted weights, and I came across a guy called Pete Rubish. Do you know what Pete Rubish is? Pete Rubish? So he doesn't compete, he doesn't do powerlifting anymore. But back then he was like a very big name, and he was insane. Like he like deadlifted in his mum and dad's like basement, and there was like a washer and dryer behind him, and he was just like ripping 800-pound deadlifts. He like was like broke the concrete in the basement, and yeah, he was insane. And I remember just thinking like, I want to be like him.
And that's how you got, and so that's why you chose powerlifting.
Just go into powerlifting. And I think as well, I think it was like something that I was good at as well. I think up until then, I'd never actually felt like I was ever good at anything. You know, like rugby, I was pretty good. I was pretty good at rugby, but I stopped before I was like 10 years old because I didn't like it. So, you know, don't really remember that. Boxing, honestly, in hindsight, I was actually very good at boxing, but I was very lazy. Didn't take it seriously.
Just didn't love it.
Didn't really like it that much. Didn't try it. I had like, you know, did it for a long time. I boxed for like, you know, maybe like 8 years. Had like quite a lot of fights, you know, and stuff like that. But didn't love it, and just was very lazy.
Yeah.
Very lazy.
Yeah.
Football, not very good. I got okay. Just before I tore my ACL, I maybe got okay, but it wasn't particularly good. School, terrible.
Really?
Terrible.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like, you know, yeah, borderline retarded. I ended up okay. But like, you know, through primary school, like I had like, you know, like very delayed speech. So again, I don't really know when, but like I could understand English. Like I could understand English. I fully understood it, knew what people were saying, but I myself had very delayed speech, like very delayed speech.
Is English your first language?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had very, very delayed speech. Like, you know, when does people start speaking, like 2 years old maybe? I don't know. Before, yeah.
Like a year and a half, yeah?
Yeah, I was probably like 7 or 8. Like,
really?
Really delayed speech.
So you started like talking?
Yeah. I could, you know, I would like talk in my own like language to my mum, but it would be, you know, completely broken and it wasn't English.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? So
just
like,
gibberish.
Just you're like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, and then when I could speak, I then had a very, very bad speech impediment, like a really bad speech impediment. So again, like I could speak, but I had a terrible speech impediment. So then I had to go to like speech therapy, learn how to speak. That also wasn't helped by when I was 7 years old, I fell off a 30-foot cliff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
So do you have quarries? And you know a quarry?
I understand. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a quarry. Where I lived, there was like miles and miles of woods behind it, and then behind that was a golf course, and then behind the golf course was a quarry. So you know, I used to just go there with my friends, and we used to break in, and you'd like climb over another fence, and then there was like a river. You'd like. You know, the river was like, I don't know, 10 feet wide. So, but there was like little bits of like, you know, rocks and stuff in the middle you could jump on, go over it, and we'd go to the quarry, and then we'd go to the quarry and just like chuck stones off of it and just be 7-year-olds. Just be stupid. Obviously my parents didn't know we were doing this. Obviously. And then me being me, I just always had to just keep pushing it further and going closer to the edge. And then I remember one time we climbed down a little bit of the edge and we were actually stuck in like, this was like, again, we're like 30 feet up. And then eventually we managed to get back up, and like that was a close call. And then immediately I went round to like a higher bit, and it was like 30 feet tall, maybe a little bit more, but about 30 feet tall. And I went to the edge, and then because it's obviously a quarry, it just gave way. Then I just free fell 30 feet. And I broke my jaw in like, so many places. And you can't see because of my beard, but I've got a scar like underneath my chin. And basically a rock went through my neck. So like went under here through my neck and like all the way through like my mouth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
And so a rock went all the way and I knocked all of my baby teeth out. And then the adult teeth that I had like adult molars, but my jaw obviously hit so hard it pushed the molars all the way back into my jaw again. And then
like from bottom to top, or they were coming out.
They were coming out, and then they were pushed right back in. So like I destroyed all of my teeth, broke my jaw in several places, broke my growth plate in my jaw. So that wouldn't have helped the speech either.
No.
But I was already 7 by this point, so I already had very delayed speech. But I think that should maybe caused the speech impediment. Maybe.
What was that recovery time like?
I don't remember.
No,
but again, so this is a funny story. We fell down it, and the problem is I don't really have many memories of like before the age of like 16. I feel like any memories I have just been like retold to me. I like don't really have it. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Don't know. I feel like I can't remember anything.
Do you think the fall?
No, I don't know, because I was only 7, Like, honestly, I feel like I can't remember very much my childhood at all. Like, I feel like everything I remember has just been, like, retold to me. But with that, from what I've been told happened, obviously I fell, and then I was with 2 friends. One of the friends ran away. Just ran away, obviously. And fair enough.
Just left,
yeah. But he was 7. So it's like, it's 7. And then my other friend... came down and got me, and I don't know if I was unconscious, I don't know, but I woke up, and then I didn't break my legs somehow. So I didn't break my legs. It was all my face was.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think you fell head first, or?
I don't remember. I honestly don't know.
Holy shit.
But he came down, and then like, I think again from what I've been told, he was like helping like pull everything out of my mouth, because there was a rock like went all the way through and into my mouth. We had to like pull that out, and then like.
And he was 7.
We pulled out, and then we had to walk. So there's a 30-foot cliff. So I shouldn't even be alive. That should be.
Are you still friends with that person?
Sorry?
Are you still friends with that person?
No.
That's
no.
crazy.
And then I should be dead by this point. Like I shouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
How I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And then we had to walk like 4 miles to the golf club. So I had to, bear in mind this has just happened, but I had to like jump back over that river, climb over a fence, climb over another fence. And then I remember we walked onto the golf course, and I think it was like the 14th hole maybe, because when I was slightly older I started playing in this course. And I remember there was a golfer just like on a Sunday morning out playing golf, probably had a terrible week at work. Wanted a wee 18 holes just to, get a bit of a break. Remember he looked at me and like dropped his club and just was like, because obviously like I looked like I'd been...
You had a hole in your jaw.
In my face, there's blood everywhere, and like obviously I was all cut and stuff. And then he like and this is funny, he just bought a brand new towel from the golf course, so he gave me that, put it on my face. He helped walk me to the Windhill Golf Club, but this is also how stupid like men are. So he walked me to the golf club, and then in the golf club there was someone in there that knew who I was and knew my dad, so he called my dad, never called me an ambulance, called my dad. But there was a Rangers Celtic game, so it's my dad's it's a football league, soccer. My dad's a really big Rangers fan, and Rangers and Celtic is like
a huge one.
huge.
Man City kind of.
Honestly, like with rivalries, it's probably like the biggest rivalry in the world.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like
Okay.
when you look at like if you type in like football's worst rivalries, Rangers Celtic is like probably number one.
Really?
It's huge. Like it's huge. Like maybe not so bad anymore, but before, like you were, the whole of Glasgow was like you were one side or the other. It was very, and also it used to be very religious. It probably still is now, but it used to be very religious as well.
Really?
Yeah. So like,
100% correct.
yeah, there you go. Celtic versus Rangers Scotland.
What was the religious aspect
So
to it?
Celtic fans are Catholics, Rangers fans are Protestants. So they're both Christians.
Yeah.
But what Catholics versus Protestants?
Yeah, the pictures are deeply rooted in religious and political social history.
Wow. Dude, soccer rivalries are...
Oh, it's crazy.
They're like nothing else.
Well, like even in the UK, like Rangers have like Rangers and Celtic fans have like firms. So you have like a Rangers firm and a Celtic firm, and they will like meet up and fight with each other, and it's crazy. But my dad's a huge Rangers fan, and he was watching the Rangers game, so he wouldn't answer the phone. He was refusing to answer the phone, and then I think they phoned. And back then, I don't think he had a mobile phone. I don't know.
Probably
They're phoning the
landline.
house. Yeah, phoning the house, and phoned the house. And I think after like the 6th or 7th time, he eventually answered and was like, "What is it?" And he was like, "I think you need to come and get your son." So he came and picked me up. He picked me up. Then he drove to my mum's friend's house and picked my mum up, and then they drove me to hospital.
What year was this?
So I would have been 7 years old. So if I'm 31, so 24 years ago. So 2002 maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was in the papers and stuff. It was all in the papers.
I believe
I
it was
just want to
quite.
see who won.
It was quite a big deal.
Yeah, who won? How bad was your dad's day?
2002 Scottish Cup final highlights: Rangers 3, Celtics 2.
The Rangers won that day, so his day wasn't that bad then.
Yeah. So and then I remember when we got to the hospital. Obviously, I think they gave my dad an absolute bollocking because they're like, why is he not had an ambulance? But but that definitely, all of that wouldn't have helped. So then I had a terrible speech impediment, and then even like in school. So I'm not sure you do it here, but in Scotland you have like a thing called primary school. Mm-hmm. So from primary 1 to primary 7. So I think you maybe start when you're 4 years old, and then I think you leave when you're 11 years old. So like between that, I was just so stupid. Like it was just like, and it's like, I don't think it was actually me being stupid. It was just, I had just like my speech was really delayed. I think I just had really delayed learning. Like I don't remember what age I was, but old enough, like maybe like 9 years old, 10 years old. I remember my dad used to sit in a room with me, and like I couldn't do any form of arithmetic. I also maybe just didn't give a fuck either and didn't care, so maybe didn't help myself. But I remember in school, like I was so terribly academic at that point, and my dad would sit down and he'd get like say 3 toys and then 3 toys. So he'd go, right, so I've got 3 toys this side, so that's 1, 2, 3. Got 3 toys this side, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm like, okay. He'd be like, so we count these together. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 toys in total. He's like, so 6 toys is made up of 3 toys and 3 toys. He's like, so what's 3 plus 3? And I'd go 47. And he'd be like, where did that come from?
Dude, that's crazy.
So I just had and then I remember even stuff that was like so embarrassing. I remember like we used to do cross country. I remember I used to do cross country in primary school, and I remember they were asking everyone their date of birth. And I remember they got to me, and I was probably like 10 years old. I remember being like, "What's a date of birth? I don't know what that is." And I just copied the person in front of me and like, "Oh, we've got the same birthday." I'm like, all right. Or like, even I remember like in primary 6 where I was like 10 years old getting like pulled out of class because I like couldn't tell the time. Like
like on the clock.
On the clock, couldn't tell the time. And it just so retarded.
Do you think that also plays a role in you also not remembering? Just maybe the lack of articulation?
I don't know. But what I was very physically far ahead. So like, for example,
your body just sent all of its energy to your muscles, and none to your brain.
Maybe so like when I was, when does a baby start like walking, for example, like be able to walk?
Like 14, 15 months maybe.
Yeah, I think
give or take.
Again, I need to be fact checking this by my mum or my dad, but I think I was like walking and like running at like 7 months old.
Whoa.
Or like 8 months old.
That's
like crazy quick. So
your body literally sent all of its energy and blood.
So I remember my mum saying, like, the way the doctors have said that, it was like, yeah, it's like, you know, he's so physically far ahead, you know, he can't do everything at once. And then I got to secondary school, and then the problem was, it was like a vicious cycle, because when I went to secondary school, I was just like, I'm retarded, I'm stupid, I don't. So then I didn't try in school. So I didn't try.
The confidence aspect of it.
And then I would almost like just deliberately sabotage myself. Like I wouldn't try. I would, you know, and then when I got to secondary school, so first year, I'm like 13 years old, and I was like in school, I was awful in school, like so badly behaved, like could not have been any worse. And I remember my dad said it got to like, you know, a point where he had like the head teacher on speed dial. He's like, and I'd have like daily updates from the head teacher, all this stuff, you know.
Were you just getting in fights? Were you just acting a fool in class? Like,
everything.
Just all of it.
Everything, yeah. It got to a point I wasn't even allowed in class.
Really?
Just straight to detention every day. Yeah, they don't even go to class. Don't even go. And then,
don't pass the classroom. Straight to detention.
Yeah, just really badly behaved. But I got to maybe, and then in third year. So in third year, I was 13, so I was 15, and you basically, in fourth year, you have things called standard grades, or back then you had standard grades, which is like the first set of important exams, and they kind of dictate what hires you can do, which then dictates if you can get into university or not. But in third year, you do like mock exams for fourth year, and I like did so bad in all of them. And then I remember I was in fourth year, so I'm 16, and one of my teachers, do I say his name? Because I thank him for this. I think his name was Mr. Story, or I can't remember exactly, but he was quite a scary big guy. I remember him being big, I remember him being scary, and I was like, you know, just up to my usual bullshit, just being so badly behaved, so rude, so cheeky, so disruptive. And I remember he like absolutely went through me in front of the whole class, and like, you know, like really went through me, like really embarrassed me, like really, and then at the end of the class, I remember I was to stay behind, and I remember him basically saying to me, he's like, all this stuff, he's like, I see through all of it's such bullshit. He's like, you know, you have no confidence, you feel completely inadequate, and you're making up for that by trying to be so unbelievably the opposite. He's like, you know, you're failing all your grades. He's like, you're doing terrible. He's like, you're probably like one of the worst students we've ever had. He's like, you're not even stupid. He's like, there's nothing wrong with you. He's like, you just don't even try. You don't even try. And then I remember it genuinely hit home. I remember thinking, like, you're genuine, like, you're actually right. So I thought, like, fuck it, and I did such a 180, complete 180, complete 180. And I remember the head teacher pulling me aside like 2 months later, and being like, like the change is just. I started behaving, I started working hard, and then I remember thinking, I'm going to, like, you know, give these exams my absolute all and, like, genuinely really try for them. And then I aced them all, did really well, and then went to the hires and again worked really hard. And that, so it wasn't actually a case of in secondary school I wasn't actually stupid, I just wasn't trying and was deliberately messing up. But before that, I think I had such, like, delayed learning, I don't know what else you'd call it. Yeah. But the problem was I'd never felt good at anything. So then with powerlifting, I realised that this was something I was actually really good at. So I think that's also why I pursued it. And then also with powerlifting, I was like, I'm not going to make the same mistakes with everything else. You know, with boxing, I was pretty good, but I was lazy, didn't work hard. School, you know, I ended up doing well, but I was lazy, didn't work hard, was disruptive. You know, with anything else, and you know, I was like, I'm not going to do that with this. I'm going to give it literally everything, and then I did. It paid off.
Where do you think you'd be without that teacher? Without that day? That
was a real turning point. I'm sure there was probably more. Like, I'm sure, you know, there's probably other things, but from what I can remember, that was like the real the real turning point.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's got to drive you nuts then with all this like victim mentality, this like enabling of behaviors where that teacher told you the truth, something that you needed to hear, probably really sucked in the moment for you, right? Probably probably hurt your feelings, probably made you feel bad. But that's what then ultimately made you turn it around. Because one person decided, all right, fuck Mark's feelings. I'm going to tell him exactly what he needs to hear, not what he wants to hear.
Because I think the problem is as well, before that, and obviously, but people would just be like, get the fuck out of my class, just leave. Because I'm disrupting the other 30 kids. And to be fair, my friends were all probably doing it too, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
We were all doing it. But I don't think anyone had ever spoke to me like that because, well, why would they? Because they're just get out. You want to help yourself, cool, get out.
Yeah, but he cared.
He must have, or maybe he was just so sick. He's like, fuck this, we dicks.
Yeah, but usually when someone does that to someone, it really genuinely comes from a place of caring, where they see something in you, right, and they know it's there. Like you even mentioned that's what he brought up. Like he can see through it.
Yeah.
Right, and so he knew there was something there. But man, if that didn't happen, who knows?
Yeah, I would have liked to think I would have
figured it out
eventually. But I remember that was a real turning point.
Yeah, but what if it would have if it took you 3 more years to figure it out?
I know.
Then you don't win worlds at 22. Then it then just continues to snowball.
That's like the butterfly effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah.
That's insane. Wow, that's a crazy origin story. Yeah. Right? The Scottish Nightmare. Does anybody call you the Scottish Nightmare?
No.
I think we need to coin that. The Scottish Nightmare. Dude, that's wow. So then we go through powerlifting, you win worlds at 22. And then like you said, you're getting tired of it. You mentioned like don't really have a sense of community, there's nobody really around, I don't got a lot of friends. And then you start to get into jiu-jitsu because you said your brother was training in Australia, right? Yeah. So where did you end up walking into?
So I started down in the north of England at a place called Gracie Baja, Harrogate, and I was there for I think 3 or 4 months, and then my lease ended, and then I moved back home to Glasgow in Scotland, and then I started training and by that point my brother had came home, and that's where he was, a place called Marcos Nardini Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I just went there because that's where he was.
Damn, so even in Scotland, they had Jiu-Jitsu, 10, 12 years ago?
Marcos was, so he's from Brazil. Okay. And I think he's been a black belt for like 20 years.
Brazil to Scotland. That's a very interesting path.
Yeah, so he lived in America.
Okay.
And he got his black belt in America and all that stuff. And then, he ended up in Scotland. I don't really know how or why he ended up in Scotland. But he's in Scotland and very lucky. But he was, he like won black belt adult gi Europeans. He won ADCC Trials, European Trials. Like he's like, he was good. Well, yeah.
Wow.
So lucky.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just in Scotland. Yeah. How big is the town or city that you're?
Glasgow's pretty big. Scotland's not. Scotland I think has a population of like 5.5 million people.
Yeah, it's not huge.
Yeah, like 5.5 million people. So it's not huge, but Glasgow's like. Glasgow and Edinburgh are probably the two, they are the two biggest cities in Scotland. But Glasgow's a pretty. For Scotland is a big city.
How many people you think
in Glasgow? I really don't know. The population's 5.5 million, maybe 1 million.
Yeah. Okay, so almost the size of Austin.
Yeah, maybe not, maybe 500,000. Yeah. I don't know.
Because I think Austin's now is like closer to 2 million. Okay. But prior. Okay.
Maybe you need to Google that. I'm not sure.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe like 500,000, something like that. Yeah. But that's such a guess. Yeah. But for Scotland, it's a big city.
It's a good sized city, though, nonetheless. Dude, that's crazy. So then you go in there, you're there. So how long did you train in Scotland at that gym?
I've been training there for after 3 months of starting, and then I'm still training there.
So that's where you still train?
Yeah, still training there now.
So then, how did you get connected to like Danaher and coming over here?
Yeah, so I think I'd been training for. There we go. That's 650.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too far off.
Good guess then.
Well, The wider Glasgow city region is home to 1.7 million.
Okay, so like the whole
suburbs.
Yeah, so yeah, about the size of Austin.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Let's get some pictures. I want to see what this.
Let's check Austin, Texas population. Austin is 1 mil. And then if you're taking the larger proximity.
Yeah, so we're about 1 million-ish more, give or take.
If I can type.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Castles on every corner.
Yeah, dude, y'all do infrastructure, just like the style of buildings, so much better than us.
Edinburgh's even nicer if you type in Edinburgh. It's a beautiful city. Me and my wife got married in Edinburgh.
Yeah? How long have y'all been together?
We've been together for four years and a few months, 4 years, and we've been married. We got married last November.
Oh, congrats.
So almost married a year, and then almost the other 4.
Where'd you meet her at?
Jiu-Jitsu.
No shit.
Yeah, well, we didn't train at the same gym, but I just like knew of her through jiu-jitsu, and I messaged her on Instagram, and then
slid right into them DMs.
Yeah.
You dirty dog.
Here we are.
That's awesome. Does she still train?
Yeah, she's a black belt.
So she gets it. She gets your obsession.
Yeah.
She gets you, like, she fully supports you coming out here.
Yeah, she's the first black belt under my coach. Female black belt.
No
sorry.
shit.
Yeah,
Did
she's.
she kick your ass?
Sorry.
Did she kick your ass?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the size difference between the two of y'all? Because you're a massive guy.
Yeah, quite. She's like maybe 5 foot. She's like 5'3" or 4.
Okay.
So I'm like a foot taller.
Yeah, she's on the smaller side.
Yeah.
Dude, wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the TV, but for those who can't see, we're looking at a gorgeous castle up on a hill. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Honestly, Scotland is
It's just gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah. If you type in like as well, Scotland, like North Coast 500.
Yeah.
The scenery is awesome.
I've been fortunate enough to go to the the coast in Ireland.
Okay.
About 40 to 50 minutes from Dublin.
Okay.
So right there on I think it was the southern coast, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be like closer to the Atlantic, and then the the waterway that goes separates mainland Europe and England. And so I've gotten to go up there, but we didn't get to go to Scotland. I would love to go. I think that's definitely a place for her as well. But it's just a place that you always hear about. It's just so green, just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. If you type in North Coast 500, Scotland, like the scenery is pretty awesome. Yeah, there you go, Coast 500. Yeah, and there's like.
So you're born and raised Scotland. Mm-hmm. Did a little bit of time in like northern England.
Yep.
And now you're heading this way.
Yeah. So last year, me and my wife were here for 90 days. Okay. So that's like 14 weeks, 13, 14 weeks. And then I came back for 2 months for trials. Because that's, just because it's a tourist visa, you're only allowed to be in the country for a set amount each year. And then we were meant to be moving here this year. Like, we're going through like the visa application process. We were hoping to be here for, I might get this wrong, but maybe April, and like officially move here in April. Mm-hmm. But we had an issue with the immigration lawyer made the mistake with the filing fees and the filing, so we had to wait 4 months. We obviously put in our application, waited 4 months, and then it got sent back to us. It wasn't like a rejection, it was just like there's been a filing fee error. Send it back to us as basically send the right filing fee and start again. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that if we did that, we wouldn't have had enough time for that all to go through and then for me to get here before ADCC.
Yeah.
So just here on a tourist visa, training for 3 months, and then leave for ADCC, and then we'll resubmit the application, and then hopefully be able to move here next year.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So be back next year, and then so tourist visas in the U.S. is 90 days.
Yeah, so you're allowed to stay for up to 90 days, and you're allowed a total of 180 days in one calendar year.
Wow, that's pretty generous.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. The UK is because the UK and America have, obviously, it's like you don't even need it's just called a visa ESTA. So like you just go on the government website and you just apply. You just put your details in and apply, and like you'll get, usually get accepted on the spot. Because it's like they've got like it's called a visa ESTA waiver program, and then the UK and the US have it going both ways. But as far as I'm aware, the Americans, you can actually, so we have 90 days we can come in for, then you have to leave. You can spend 180 days in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like half a year.
That's pretty crazy.
In one go. I'm almost certain, again, need to fact check me, but I'm almost certain.
Just on a tourist visa?
Just a tourist visa, yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, because I mean, I went to Thailand and it's 28 days and you got to get out.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of places are pretty short. I think because I have a buddy who is right now, he's working in Belize, and he has to renew his visa every 30 days.
Right, okay.
But he doesn't have to leave and come back. He just has to go to the immigration office, pay the fee, and then they renew him right there.
Yeah.
And so I think he ended up this last time going to them and asking him if he can pay more up front. And I think they let him pay more up front just because his company, he has a company office in Belize, but he works for the American side of the company. So he gets paid in US dollars. And so as long as he's getting paid in US dollars, they said he can stay as long as he wants.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so as long as he's not making Belizean dollars.
Why is...
I guess it had to come down to taxes, and they also because they have access to his bank account information when he goes to immigration, and so since he's making U.S. dollars, obviously the cost of living there is not as much, and so they want him to stay because it's just better for the economy.
I get you.
Yeah, so it's interesting. But yeah, I didn't know 90 days for us and then 180 in the UK.
I'm almost certain. I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain.
But even 90 days is a long time just for a tourist visa. Just to be there.
Yeah,
that's a good amount of time.
Yeah, and then the visa ESTA, I think it lasts 2 years.
Yeah.
So when you leave, like it resets. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But obviously, I think the general guideline is you need to be out the country for as long as you've been in it. So like if I've been here for 3 months, which I will have, when I leave, I couldn't just
leave and
go to Mexico for 2 days and then come back.
Yeah.
Well, you technically can, but I think like the border agent would be like slightly suspicious. It looks like you're trying to live here.
Yeah.
Rather than just,
a little frowned upon. Yeah, that makes sense. And so how did you get connected to the team here? Or when did you start? I guess when did you start coming here first initially?
Yeah, so I had a match against Dan on Grapplefest. I think I'd been training for 3 years.
Oh, no shit.
Maybe just less, maybe 2.5. Mm-hmm. And I had a match against Dan on Grapplefest. And then Dan said to me after that, you should come out and train with us. And then at ADCC 2024, the day after ADCC, Dan messaged me and was like, you should come and train with us. So I just was like, fuck it, yeah, let's do it.
What was the gap between the Grapplefest and ADCC Worlds?
18 months, maybe.
Did you just when he said it to you at the end of Grapplefest, did you kind of just write it off a little? You're like, what, I
don't think I wrote it off. I just was like, thinking we're maybe not in a position to maybe go. And then after ADCC, I was like, because the reality is, I'm like, if I want to, do this seriously, which, I obviously was, but I was given everything. But if I want to, be taking this as far as I can, I need to be over here training. So then after ADCC, I was like, we need to get out there.
Yeah. That's still impressive. You still made it to Worlds out of your gym just in Scotland.
Yep, never trained.
How's the other training partners? Is there other professionals or other guys?
Not professionals, but there's other guys that train full time. Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of guys that the people I train with, they're they train the schedule of pros. Yeah. They maybe don't have I think it depends what you class as a pro, I suppose. They maybe aren't getting paid to do jiu-jitsu, but they're
but they're good.
They're taking it as seriously as as like a pro does in their training as seriously as it. So yeah, no, I'm like, you know, back home it's like, you know, 2 days, and like I've got, you know, different people for different sessions, because obviously people have to work a job and whatnot, but no, they take it really, really seriously back home. Yeah.
And did you have other guys your size or close to it?
Yeah, I'm lucky. Yeah, honestly, back home, pretty much most people I train with are heavyweight, really? So I'm pretty lucky.
It's just that Scottish Irish background, the freaking the Irish. I mean, not the Irish. Excuse me. The Vikings who came over. Freaking that DNA merged between like the Irish and the Scots and the Vikings, and just breed some fucking massive humans. That's interesting. Yeah, that is really lucky to have, you know, a bunch of dudes your size.
Yeah, with the first trials that I went to, didn't really have people my size, and then just like after that, I just worked really hard of like trying to like network, and there is a lot of traveling involved. You know, like I travel honestly probably like 30,000 miles a year just driving to gyms.
Damn.
You know, like I drive to England every week.
Really?
Yeah, every Tuesday.
What's that drive like?
Like 3.5 hours for me each way, so maybe 7 hours in total.
Yeah.
Which maybe isn't that much to an American, but to people from the UK, that's a big drive.
It's still a drive. I mean, that's from here to Dallas.
Yeah, so do that every Tuesday. Drive, you know, all over, but I've just with being resourceful, ended up, you know, managing to get like a really good group of bigger training partners. Yeah.
You're not a half-ass kind of guy. You're either all in or all out, huh?
Yeah, no, there's and is that a flaw?
No, hell no.
Maybe in some aspect, but yeah, no, I can't just do something. And this was so funny because see, with jiu-jitsu, when I started jiu-jitsu, I like made a promise to myself. I'm like, I'm not going to make this what powerlifting was, because powerlifting, you know, overtook my entire life. You know, from the age of 16 years old, like, you know, I remember when I was like 16, when me and my friends went out, you know, I would like take a backpack with me, and in my backpack I'd have like 3-4 Tupperwares of like chicken and rice, and you know, like we go to like a barbecue, like they'd all be eating barbecue and grilling stuff, and I'd be eating chicken and rice, and you know, it got to a point where, you know, never drank alcohol, never go out and party, never even hang out with friends. I would genuinely, with powerlifting, my attitude generally was like, if something isn't going to be directly making me better at powerlifting, I'm not going to do it. So like, you know, even like hanging out with friends, I'm like, and it is stupid because it doesn't need to be like that. But I was like, you know, why would I go out and hang out with friends when I could stay home and rest and go to bed early? And
but I think it's hard to not be that obsessed. And what I mean by that is like, at least for me, I've noticed, you know, if you can get into a great groove, which obviously you were, but if you take those few days where maybe you did just let yourself go, eat with your friends or whatever, I feel like it can just derail. Yeah. Like you're so locked in, and it only takes like that. And then you slip out of everything. It. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it, you know, it doesn't need to be, because you could argue, well, you know, you could still go out with your friends, but you know, that can still benefit you because you don't need to drink, you don't need to party, you can still get all your food in, you can still get everything done for the day, but you can actually go and hang out with your friends, which would be an enjoyable experience, and you know, you'd actually enjoy yourself and have a good time, and like that itself is going to be good for your powerlifting.
But there's a risk.
Yeah,
you know?
But back then I was young and I was just completely one track minded. And I'm saying this as if like,
I'm not saying, I think,
you know, I'm literally, unfortunately, like, you know, I'm here for 3 months. My wife's back home, which absolutely sucks. So like, I'm still doing this now. I've not learned. If anything, it's worse now because you've got to train more as well.
Yeah, but you're being great.
But I'm trying to be.
I mean, you are pretty damn close to it. Like, you're in the big show for the second time. You've only been training for 7 years. When did you realize, like, actually two questions there. When you initially started jiu-jitsu, you're a big fucking dude. You're clearly strong. Did you get your ass whooped?
Oh yeah.
That had to have been like earth shattering for you.
Not, see, to be fair, not really. I honestly,
I guess the boxing probably already.
And to be fair, I don't think I've ever had that or I don't feel like I've ever had that like big guy ego of like I'm a big guy and like I could, you know, beat everyone up and, you know, no one could do anything because I'm strong. Like I was always very aware, you know, like I said, I boxed for like almost a decade. I was very aware of what people are capable of, and like in boxing, like you know, and there'd been a few fights, you know, like sanctioned fights where I got, you know, beat up really, really, really badly. You know, my first ever fight, you know, is one of like the worst ass whoopings that you probably could ever have. Yeah, I got beat up really. So
You just win all the rounds, or?
Yeah, he just won all the rounds, and like, you know, my face was, you know, just covered in blood, and I was just, you know, just got absolutely the shit beat out of me. And so I was already well aware of that going into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's fair.
I honestly don't think I really had that ego, and I also as well, like again, when I went to jiu-jitsu, like I knew that was going to be the case, so it actually never surprised me. But I just more being like, I remember just thinking like, it is crazy how like someone can like manhandle you like that. I'm like, you know, it is crazy someone can manhandle you like, or manhandle me like that. Like it's a crazy experience, but I definitely wasn't like, I wasn't shocked by it.
Yeah, okay, you weren't. Yeah, that makes sense. Did you start in the gi?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then, definitely in the gi, it's a different kind of ass whooping.
And like I got
It's a different kind of ass whooping, because in no gi, you know, you being as big as you are, explosive as you are, it's gonna be hard to hold you down regardless of what you know. But in the gi, they start getting those grips. You're not moving.
No, you're not.
You're not going nowhere.
No,
it's not. It's not
like,
up to you no more.
Yeah, and like when I said, when I came back, like you know, my coach Marcos, like, you know, I think he'd won like black belt adult gi Europeans.
How big is he?
Not big. Okay. Maybe like 76 kilos.
Oh, okay.
But like, you know, he just won that, or maybe a year before I'd start, or 2 years before that. So like, he was
in his prime.
Yeah, and like, you know, he could almost do whatever he wanted.
That's not, I mean, that still had to have been at least somewhat crazy.
It was crazy, yeah. No, it was crazy. It wasn't shocking, but it was crazy.
Yeah. He was just like, what the fuck? Because I mean, you know, he's like 160, 170 pounds. Yeah, that's nuts.
That was like twice his weight.
Yeah, dude. Especially when you first started, because you were bigger.
Yeah.
Right? And so when did you realize that jiu-jitsu was your next thing? Like, when did you realize, oh, fuck, I did it again?
Well, honestly, from when I started down in England, I literally remember looked at the timetable and I just went to every class. So every class they had available, I just went to. So I think it started off, it was only night time, so it was like every night, Monday through Friday every night, and then Saturday morning. So I just went to every single one of those classes, and then they introduced like 2 morning sessions. So then I just added them in as well. So I honestly kind of started training full time without even like
Sorry.
That's okay. Like deliberately training full time. Like from the start.
Just right off the bat.
Right off the bat. And then again, when I came up to Glasgow, I went to, you know, there was a much bigger timetable. There was morning and night, but I just went to morning and night, Monday through Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday off. So I honestly trained full time from the start without even realising it. And then I started going to wrestling as well 2 nights a week. And then I started going to judo 1 night a week. And I just,
Were you still lifting at this time, or are you taking a break?
I was still lifting. I never stopped lifting. I definitely wasn't taking lifting that seriously then.
Do you mind? We're busy over here.
She has input.
Clearly. She's like, damn. Who let the Viking in the house? Yeah, that's what happens when you fall asleep. So you're still lifting.
But I wasn't taking it maybe quite as seriously. And just like, lost a lot of body weight. And then when did I think? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I got my blue belt, and then so I went to the Europeans at white belt in the gi, and I won that. So I won white belt Europeans in the gi, and then I got my blue belt, and then like 2 weeks after my blue belt, COVID happened, and then obviously in the UK, like pretty harsh lockdowns.
Yeah.
Luckily, you know,
How did y'all get around that?
we still trained.
We had people here just blacking out windows.
Yeah, me and my brother, so we put mats in my mum and dad's garage. So we lived together.
Okay.
So me and Gavin just trained together every day anyway.
Yeah.
So that was honestly...
Is he as big as you?
Not as big. He's the same height as me. And he's like 100 kilos.
Yeah, okay. So still
He's a big guy.
bigger guy.
Yeah. And he's like, you know, he was back then as well, you know, he was much better than me. So we trained together every day. You know, so we never stopped training. So I trained every day with him. And then after us training every day, then when, you know, gyms wouldn't weren't open, you weren't allowed to do it, but, you know, we would, you know, meet up with some friends and stuff and we'd train. And then, so honestly, I got a lot of really, really good training during COVID. And then I remember when competitions opened up, I done my first competition as a blue belt, and I entered the black belt division. This was no gi, and this was black belt division in weight class, and then absolute. Well, the absolute was anyone, you know, anyone can enter from white to black belt, but there was lots of black belts in that competition, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then I won the weight class, and then I won the absolute, and in the final I came up against a guy called Ross Nichols. So Ross Nichols had won ADCC Trials, and he was the only person from the UK that won ADCC Trials, and he went to ADCC. He was smaller, like I think he was like the 77 kilo category, but like he lost a decision to JT Torres at ADCC, and actually that JT Torres won ADCC that year, and Ross was his hardest match. So like, you know, he was obviously, you know, world class, he was exceptional. So I beat him in the final and won that. And then I think when I beat him, I then thought like, oh yeah, maybe
this is it.
Maybe this is it. But the thing is, I was already taking it, like I was already training full time then, but I think I was just kind of doing that. I don't think I really had...
Just who you are as a person.
I was just like, well, what else am I going to do? Like, you know, what else? I need to fill my time doing something, so I may as well just do that. But I don't think I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to go to ADCC or I'm going to try and do this. I think I was just doing it. I was just training full time. And then I beat him, and then that's when I started to think it. And then I went to my first ADCC trials and won my first match with a rear naked choke. And then my second match, I came up against. So, do you know the guy that weighs 185 kilos? He just won black belt gi worlds. He's like Seth something. The Brazilian dude? He's Moroccan, is he not?
Oh,
he's like 190 kilos.
Huge.
He's like 190.
I believe so.
He had that match with Mikey Musumeci.
Yes,
so
I do
he's
know.
Like, I think he's like a 3 or 4 time black belt world champion. In the gi, and he just won black belt gi worlds there. He choked a guy from inside the guy's closed guard.
Yes. I did see this.
So I had a match with him, and that was my second match, and I lost it, but it was like 0-0. It was 0-0, and then it went to overtime, and then it was 0-0, and it was like the worst match of all time. You know, like we were just trying to wrestle each other. And I remember there was one point I got to double underhooks, and I couldn't get my hands close to being locked. And when that happened, I remember thinking like, I've not got anything. Like I don't know what to do. I remember just thinking like, I don't know what to do.
Like, how am I going to get you down now?
Yeah, I remember just thinking, because I think that happened like maybe 2 or 3 minutes into the match. I got to double unders and I couldn't close my hands. I remember then just thinking, I don't actually know what to do. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to keep trying my best. So it's one of those things where I think both of us lost. Like I lost and he went through, and I've got no problem with that. But we both lost. It was like the worst jiu-jitsu match of all time. But then when that happened, that's when I really was like, I want to win that and get to ADCC. Yeah, like I want to.
It had to have been a confidence booster, nonetheless.
I don't think it was a confidence booster. No, I just remember thinking like, no, that's what I want to. That's what I want to do. And then I went to my second trials, won my first match again. Won my first match, and then my second match, I got my leg fucking broke. Like, not terribly, but like, you know, I got my shit snapped up. It was my fault. I could have and should have tapped way quicker.
What was it?
An inside heel hook from cross Ashi. I just ate it for ages. I did get out. So like I ate it and I managed to get out, and then I got out, but I was still in inside Ashi, but I managed to just like slip my heel, if that makes sense. And then he took a tombstone grip, and then I managed to stand up from inside Ashi. And I remember when I stood up, I felt like my shin shift a little bit, and then I tapped. But that, you know, that was completely unavoidable.
Yeah.
That was me just being, again, an absolute moron.
Just being stubborn.
Yeah, you know, and it highlighted that I have absolutely zero. Back then I was like, I have absolutely zero leg lock defense. But they, you know, big, and then again went away, went to the next trials, I won, and then went to ADCC, and then obviously I lost, and then obviously I went to the last trials, and then I won, and then
who'd you lose to in 2024?
Dan.
Yeah?
Yeah, me and Dan first round.
And then how'd the Grapple Fest match go as well?
So the Grapple Fest, he won with an inside heel hook at Grapple Fest. And then at that ADCC there, he won by points. I think it was 3-0 or 6-0. It was, he took my back once or twice, I think twice. But either way, I lost 3-0 or 6-0 from him taking my back.
And so how's it now, right? So you're here all the way up to ADCC. Obviously, Dan is here. Mm-hmm. You know y'all are in this. I know.
I know.
This one is fucking annoying, dude. Y'all are both obviously in the same bracket. Mm-hmm. So how's it like now? Y'all in the same room? Are y'all constantly rolling with each other? Are you avoiding each other? Like, how does this work, knowing that you know that y'all are in the same bracket going for the same goal?
No, I mean, every time we're both in, we like do all the drilling together, all the situations together. We do, you know, a lot of the positionals. No, we roll, like we train. Like Dan's like, you know, one of my main training partners. Yeah, I think it's one of these things where, you know, and Dan's like a really good friend of mine, and it's a case of we're going to both make each other better. Yeah. You know, so. Yeah.
Does it get in your head at all? Or like, do you think like, you know, like if there's a round that maybe goes in his favor, or there's a round that goes in your favor, like does it affect you mentally at all?
No.
Not thinking about it like that?
No, not at all, honestly. No, not at all. I think the reality is that, you know, Dan's like a, you know, brilliant training partner, and I couldn't really have a better training partner than that. You know, he's bronze medalist at ADCC Worlds. You know, he's massive. He's super technical. I couldn't get a better training partner than that. So it's a case of, you know, we're both there to train and get better, and we're going to make each other better for ADCC. So yeah, no, there's no weirdness or nothing at all. No.
Interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And so this is how many times have you been here to train with the Danaher team?
This is my third time.
Your third time?
Last year I was there for like 6 months.
Okay.
And then here I'm here for 3 months.
Okay, so this is your third time. And then what have you noticed coming from your gym and then coming over here? What is it about your game that you think you have improved the most from, like the most that you've benefited from for being here?
I think one, just exposure to like the high level partners. You know, I remember like, you know, when you're training back home, I remember one thing I always noticed when I went to like trials, or I went up against Dan at Grapple Fest or at ADCC, it's like when you touch the people that are like, you know, world class, and like when you like touch them and like, you know, start grappling them, it was like, you know, it's almost like a bit of a shock to the system, because back home they're not, you know, they're not like of that level, if that makes sense. So I remember it always felt like a little bit of a shock. So I think just exposure to training with guys that are that good. I also think as well that it's one of these things where, you know, back home, and nowadays, you know, like I train with a guy called Aidan every week who's like got a silver medal at trials, you know, so he's like world class and super high level. But, you know, it's one of these things where even if your training's going great or whatever, you know, it's kind of like, it's not the same confidence booster as doing it against guys that are like world class or massive names, because then I feel like sometimes you get to ADCC and I'm seeing all these people, it's like, you know, I don't belong here. Like, what the, you know, that's fucking this guy or this, you know, it's like, what am I doing here? Kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know you belong because...
So I think like just the exposure to the partners is really important, because I'm getting to train with guys that are like the literal best guys in the world every single day. And like, it's not like, that's not me even thinking that. Like, objectively, they are the literal best guys on the planet. So getting to train with them every day, I think it's just really, you know, the exposure to that. And then also, you know, having success and doing well against the literal best guys. And I'm like, well, if I can do this or have this success against this guy, I'm like, well, it doesn't get better than that. Mm-hmm. You know? So then it like makes it, I think it like then brings down the scale of the people you're against at ADCC as well. Other things, I think back home, the problem is that pretty much all of my sessions are like self-led. If that makes sense. Like, all of my training is like, you know, like, it's like I have to, like, you know, we're training at this time, you know, so I have my set schedule, but it's like self-led. Like, I don't really have anyone, you know, I coach, not that I coach the sessions, but like, I'm like, right, we're going to be doing drilling this today, we're going to be doing these positionals, these rounds. But it's like you don't have any feedback because I've not got a coach, if that makes sense, watching me for every session. So it's like, I think that's the other thing as well, is one, I just get to turn up to training and I'm just told what to do. So I love that. You know, that's like such a difference. All I have to worry about is getting to train. I don't have to worry about planning it. I don't have to worry about who's going to be there. I don't have to worry about meshing people. Like, remember, we're training. You know, I just turn up, and then, you know, John and or Gordon, you know, lead the sessions, and then also as well as, you know, just little things, you know. So like, for example, like, you know, was it last week, I think? Yeah, so like last week, Gordon was basically saying to me that, you know, he's like, when you're coming up at a turtle, he's like, when the person's mat returning you, he's like, you're basically being mat returned. He's like, and then you're just settling and you're settling in turtle. He's like, and then you're trying to go into Granby's and then you're trying to start scrimmaging. He's like, but the whole time, he's like, you're settling, carrying body weight and then going. He's like, if you build back up to your feet, when you get mat returned, the minute your hip hits the mat, you're straight into Granby's, you're straight into scrimmaging. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
But literally instantly, I was able to do that and instantly start having so much more success.
Yeah.
But like, I thought, like, when I'm getting mat returned, I'm like, I am Granby and I'm scrimmaging and I'm trying to do that. But what was actually happening was I was being mat returned. I was then like settling, going back to turtle, and there was like maybe a 20-second delay, so then I'm just back to carrying body weight. Whereas he's like, the minute your hip hits the floor, you're straight into scrimmaging instantly. He's like, there's no, you know, stuff for that. Or even like, you know, he's like, you know, when you're getting to the single, he's like, I want you to start training this and this. So it's just like little things where like just getting feedback that I wouldn't have back home.
Yeah.
So it's really really beneficial.
That's huge. That's great feedback.
Yeah.
Like the turtle, don't carry their weight and then Granby, right? That's extra energy now that you're using. And you're giving them time to settle, weigh you down, and to progress. And
then I remember in the open round that day, so Gordon basically pulled me aside and was like, this is what I want you to work on today. He's like, in the turtle positional, he's like, I want you just to keep getting back to your feet. He's like, and I want you to be letting the person trying to mat return. He's like, so I don't want you stripping hands, standing up and stripping hands. He's like, when you stand up, he's like, I want you to be letting the person mat return you, and then instantly working on that. And then that open round that day, I was wrestling. And then I can't remember how, but you know, off of like a scramble, the guy I was wrestling with had a rear body lock. He mat returned me. I instantly Granby'd, high speed, and then hit an arm drag, and then I was now in top turtle and then took us back. I remember John and Gordon like then pulling aside and saying, like, you know, like last week you'd have been mat returned in turtle, then you start Granbying, then you get mat returned, and then you repeat this process, and like you'd be there for 3-4 minutes, or maybe you get your back taken, and or both. So whereas you literally, the guy had the body lock, mat returned you, he was like, and then instantly you Granby'd, you know, scrimmaged, arm drag, and now you had his back, and then you took his back. He was like, so you instantly changed the direction of the match, whereas a week ago that wouldn't have happened. So just little things like that I think is really beneficial. So I'd say, like, one, it's the access to training partners. Well, I don't think any of them are more important than others, but I think the things that I notice is access to training partners, actually having a coach leading the session and telling you everything exactly what to do, and then actually getting feedback as well.
Yeah, having a feedback loop.
Yeah, whereas back home, not really got it. I need to try, but I need to do that for myself. But the problem is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't realise, I thought that when I was getting mat returned, I was scrimmaging. And I was, but I was settling and waiting 10, 15 seconds and carrying body weight and letting them settle and all this stuff. So
what have you noticed, other than the ability to then potentially change the position, but have you noticed from like a cardio perspective, is it helping to then do it immediately versus letting them settle? Or
yeah, because I think as well, like I think one thing that can happen as well is when you're not afraid to get mat returned, because I think sometimes when you're afraid to get mat returned, you put so much energy in trying not to, that then when you do, you're then exhausted. Whereas if you're just quite, you're quite happy to stand up and you get mat returned, it's not a problem and you go with it. And also I think if they mat return, you kind of use the energy of them putting your hip to the floor to then instantly go into a grand base. So I feel like it's like less energy as well. So I feel like it's more efficient too.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's actually, that's fantastic. I'm going to take that to training tomorrow.
Yeah, so you can thank Gordon for that.
Yeah, no, dude, that's, I needed that. Because I have a similar issue in that regard. Versus you can definitely tell too, there's rounds where there is no delay and there's no thought and you're just going, and you realize that those opportunities do open up a lot more frequently versus the rounds where maybe you're being a little bit more, maybe a little slower, a little lazier, and there are positions where you're letting someone settle where it just shouldn't have happened.
That's the one thing I think I noticed when I roll with the guys in there that are the literal best guys in the world versus guys that are absolutely brilliant, but like they're, the difference is they never let you settle. You're never, even if you're in an advantageous position, it almost doesn't even feel like you're in an advantageous position. Mm-hmm. It's like, I feel like, you take the person, you get out of your body lock and like you're worried about them like hitting a switch on you, or, you're worried about them doing something. So like you're almost trying to defend the position when you're technically should be in the offensive aspect. So I think that's one thing that I've noticed as well.
Yeah, that's great. How are you making money through all this? Like how?
So I have an online business for like strength and conditioning.
Okay. And is that what you were doing when you were initially first training? Like how long have you been running that for?
Oh, since I was like 17 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing you've been doing?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've done that since I was like, I think I became a personal trainer when I was 17. I started doing online strength and conditioning when I was 18. Yeah, so I've done that. So that's why I've like been lucky. That's why I was able to like just start training full time from the get go, because it's my own business and it's online. So although it's like really busy and takes a lot of time, it's not a problem for me to go and train at any time, because I can do my work before or after or both.
Yeah, absolutely. How many members do you have, or like how do you I guess manage that? Is there a set number that you try not to exceed? Like how does that work for you?
Yeah, so basically it's just it's not like a community in terms of like everyone does the same thing. Like everything is like one-on-one with the individual, if that makes sense. Yep. So yeah, like it's definitely not like an infinite amount. It's not like, I think some people like you can sign up for an app and you like, you all follow like the same workout and whatnot, and then you pay less for that. So this is like fully personalized, like one-to-one. So definitely it's not like, can't do like an infinite amount. But I've never really got to a point where I'm like, I'm definitely at a point right now, and have been for a few years, where I'm like, I don't necessarily, like, I don't need more clients. Like more would maybe be difficult, if that makes sense. But the thing is that people are always dropping off.
And then just kind of cycling.
Yeah, so it's like a cycling aspect of it as well, yeah.
And then are you doing nutritional aspects as well, or is it mainly just strength and conditioning?
It's mostly strength and conditioning. The nutritional side of it is available, but most people generally are, most people do most of the strength and conditioning, and then some people also like, get help with their nutrition, but I'd say mostly strength and conditioning. And
how do you format this for someone who signs up? So say someone comes on tomorrow, like they sign up, how does that then work from there?
So they sign up, obviously the questionnaire, they get a questionnaire, they fill out their questionnaire, and then I'll then just start to basically build their spreadsheet, build their program, and then I send their program 1 week at a time. So, on every Thursday, I'll do the programming, send their programming for the next week. So they get sent program for the next week, and then for them, basically, they're just to go do their session, and then they're to hopefully film as much as they can from that session, and then they would like upload that, send the footage to me, give me feedback from the session, and then obviously I'd review the footage, give them feedback from their footage, and then you just cycle through the weeks and make adjustments, because I send it on a 1 weekly basis, so that I can work as closely with them as possible.
Have you always only sent it on a 1 week basis, or is that?
Yeah. Like there are, like, if someone wants, someone maybe doesn't want 1-to-1 coaching, but they'd like a program, like I do like, you could buy like a 12-week program or, from me, but that's like I'd create their 12-week program, send them it, and then they'd go and they do that on their own, and there's not coaching associated with that. But if anyone comes on for coaching, it's always 1 week at a time. Like I will create like the block, so I'll create like their training blocks. Say their training block 6 weeks. So I would create their training block, but I'll send it 1 week at a time, and then I can make adjustments as and when necessary.
How did you realize that was going to be the better way to do it for you?
Honestly, I think because when I did powerlifting, when I did powerlifting, that's the way that I like to set up my own training, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I just did that with them as well.
So you were setting up your own when you were doing powerlifting. Were you working with somebody? Or?
Yeah. So when I started, I just kind of did it all myself. And then I think when I was like 18 years old, I got a powerlifting coach from America, and he just sent it 1 week at a time. And then I just always kind of continued that.
Interesting. So that's what worked for you, and so then you've continued that, and that's obviously worked out. Yeah,
I'm not against sending like a block, one full block, but I think as well also, what people are like. People don't always finish a week. Maybe they don't train that week, or maybe they only do 1 of their 3 sessions or 2 of their 4. So it's like, right, we'll do it. So it's more as well, I do that. It allows me to keep fully in track of where they are and what they're doing as well, because not everyone is like super communicate super well as well. Sometimes we have to chase people up.
And it makes sense too, right? From like from that perspective, in the sense of it's probably less confusing, and it allows you to make those changes live, versus if they get the 4 weeks, but 1 week, maybe something they get a nagging little injury, and they have to, and you have to change something.
Exactly.
It could get a little confusing because now there's you're making changes where they already saw it, or whatever. So I could see how that could be more clear. That's awesome. Who do you like? What's your clientele typically like? Are you?
So nowadays it's pretty much mostly jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
I still coach some powerlifters. I definitely still coach like a good group of powerlifters, but I'd say honestly like 80% are now jiu-jitsu guys. At one point it was obviously 100% powerlifters, whereas now it's maybe like 10 to 20% powerlifters, like 80 to 90% jiu-jitsu guys.
And how do you feel about that?
That's fine by me.
Yeah. Has you just noticed is that just probably due to mostly the content that you post, and it just kind of slowly has been going that way? Or
the thing is, as well as like nowadays, especially in Scotland, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think the people that are competing in Scotland now would probably even know who I am if they weren't competing when I was around.
Sure.
Maybe if they look up the records, I think my name's still there in quite a few. They'd maybe see my name, but honestly, I don't think. It's like sports, life, everything moves on so quickly. Yeah. See, within 2-3 years, it's like, so I think like now it's like that my audience is like jiu-jitsu people, and I still do have quite a few powerlifters. Like I've had like 2 powerlifters competing last weekend. They both did great. So I definitely still have quite a few powerlifters, and they're doing really well. But the majority of people are jiu-jitsu people, and I think that's just, it makes sense because like I'm not a powerlifter, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy now, so that's who's following me and viewing me, and
that makes sense. And how are you acquiring this knowledge? Like, how are you doing research on your end, or like is it just all through experience, or like?
I'd say both. So like when I started, you obviously had to get your like level 2, level 3 personal training course certificate, and I think that was like maybe, I don't remember exactly, maybe like a 3-month course all in or something like that. I'm not too sure. So obviously I had to do that, and then just when I was younger, like all I did was just watch YouTube videos, like people that like posted educational content, experience, it's just all of the above, really.
Interesting. Well, have you thought about maybe what's next? Like after grappling, you're done competing. Like, what have you thought about? Like, I don't know, maybe working out like the UFC PI, or like just something like that interest you, or like what?
Honestly, I'm hoping by the time that I retire from grappling, I'm really big into investing, so I'm hoping that my investments will be at a point where I can maybe start to live off of them and not have to do it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure.
But that's kind of the goal.
That's the goal, yeah. Like, you know, I think like I'm only 31 as a heavyweight, you know, I've honestly probably got 10 years, you know.
I would say so. I mean,
easily, you know, you look at like
Lovato Jr.,
yeah,
Wagner.
And they're lighter as well. You know, plus 99, you know, I think your peak's probably your late 30s for sure. So I've got a long time in front of me, but I'm hoping that, you know, by the time I get into my 40s, I'm hoping I'll maybe be able to retire on my investing. It's quite a big, yeah.
How do you feel, how much do you think powerlifting first played a role to you getting into jiu-jitsu and being able to train so much without, you know, obviously, you know, or I'm assuming a significant injury, because you've been able to train so consistently. How much of powerlifting before and just being very strong do you think that played a role?
I think it definitely helped. I think powerlifting helped in terms of, you know, like the discipline aspect of, you know, like being a professional athlete, training like a professional athlete, recovering like a professional athlete. And then I think being, you know, really strong obviously definitely played a big role as well. And I think as well, I think I'm probably just quite lucky, like naturally I'd say that I'm, you know, touch wood, like pretty resilient. I've got like a pretty resilient body, like, you know, I'd say like I'm not particularly injury prone. When I do get injuries, I tend to heal pretty quickly. So I'd say, you know, it definitely has been a factor and has helped a lot, but I'd also say probably, you know, maybe a bit of like luck as well, where I've, you know, maybe quite resilient to injury and whatnot.
Yeah. What's coaching pricing typically look like for you?
So I'm trying to work out. So dollars wise, it maybe be like about $180, $190 a month.
And that's for the one-on-one aspect.
Yeah.
And then if someone just wants you to build them a plan, what does that typically look like?
So like a 12-week plan again would typically be about maybe $150.
And then that's just a one-time, boom, here you go.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's, yeah.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's very little comparatively, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's pretty.
That's a great value.
I always get told I'm far too cheap, I need to put it up, but you know.
I mean, if you're doing fine and you're happy, then fuck it.
And yeah, I think as well, you know, I think I wouldn't want to like, you know, someone wants help or needs help, but they're like just completely priced out. I'd rather actually be like a little bit more on the conservative side and actually be able to, you know, help maybe a slightly broader. Especially
when you're like now, the majority of your clientele is jiu-jitsu guys. Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of money. Yeah. Not always, right? Yeah. Obviously, the hobbyists, there's usually some more money. Like a lot of guys that do jiu-jitsu, there tends to be more money from the hobbyist side. But like the actual athletes, the people who are probably wanting to learn from you,
they've not got that much, no.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, that's, you know, that's nice of you in that regard as well. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people are benefiting from it because we're seeing this shift in jiu-jitsu where, you know, 5 years ago it was like, oh, I just do jiu-jitsu, I don't lift.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, no. When I first started jiu-jitsu, it was obviously 7 years ago. Now it's only 7 years ago. Like, not one person in the gym lifted, and like I'd say they honestly looked down on it as well.
Yeah, they did. They thought it was going to be a detriment. It was going to hurt their jiu-jitsu or their mobility, or they wouldn't play guard as well, or whatever the case may be. Never made any sense, right? Like you look at MMA guys and the way that they train.
It says audio source unavailable. It's still recording.
Well, that's still recording too, so we're good.
Okay.
We should be okay. Did you fix it?
I just hit OK on it, and it's still recording.
It never stopped?
No.
Is it still attached to the same audio source?
I can't check. I don't think. But if it's doing that, keep talking to the mic real quick.
Talking in the mic?
Yeah, it looks like it's still doing the thing. Just fine.
Well, good thing we have fucking 2 backups.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know what happened, but it needs
to stop doing that. That's what
I was just letting you know, sorry.
Yeah, they need to fucking stop doing that.
That's technology for you, isn't it?
All right, we're back, y'all. I don't know what the fuck is happening over here, but we're getting short-circuited on this outlet over here, and the audio source keeps disconnecting. But I think we're good. I think we're back. The fuck were we just talking about?
Yeah, lifting. People look down on it.
Yeah, people looking down on lifting, and it's crazy because you watch like MMA guys. They get after it, right? They're lifting, they're hitting the air bike, they're hitting the row machine, they're doing medicine ball slams, they're doing all these things. And then for whatever reason, jiu-jitsu athletes were like, nah, that won't help me.
Yeah, literally. And they honestly, I'd say, like, when I started, like, the general consensus was people looked down on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting.
Like, weren't impressed, didn't think it helped, and looked down on it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, your strength doesn't matter.
Yeah, literally.
It was like, oh, well, I have technique. Okay, cool. So what happens when my technique meets your technique, and I also have way more strength than you?
The reality is, I think if two people are of like equal skill level, the bigger, stronger, more athletic person is usually going to win. You know, like the thing is that like strength is a skill multiplier, and like that's like the reality of the situation. You know, like if someone is more skillful than you, but you're way stronger, or way more athletic, or way bigger, you know, it's going to be beneficial. And don't get me wrong, you know, like that. But the thing is, I think the problem is that people are so black and white. That doesn't mean that like skill's not important. Obviously, like you should always be trying to be as skillful as you possibly can be, and like develop your skill set to the absolute highest level. But why can't you also just try and be as strong as you can be? Why just not try and do both? It doesn't have to be one. You don't have to be super strong but then have awful skill, and you don't have to have amazing skill but have awful strength. You could just do both.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the thing. Like, people are so black and white. Nobody's saying by taking your strength and conditioning seriously, you're not taking your jiu-jitsu seriously. You know? Yeah. You can just do both.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like a famine mentality. Like, you can only do one of these.
Yes.
And can't be good at both. Or you can't allow one to then just supplement the other. Because it's not like you don't have to be, you know, trying to max out on bench or squat, or you don't have to be doing any of those things. You just need to be lifting some weights.
Exactly.
Right? Just moving the bar.
It's, people, again, I think people overcomplicate stuff as well. You know, honestly, like, I think there definitely is things you can do. You know, I think, like, you know, everyone should be doing like some form of a hinge, everyone should do some form of a squat, a horizontal push-pull, vertical push-pull, do some arms, do some core work, do some cardio. But see, honestly, like, it doesn't matter. See, you go in the gym and you just pick like 8 random exercises. See, if you like progress and strengthen those 8 random exercises, you're going to get stronger, and that's going to benefit you. Yeah, you can, you know, improve, like maximize your time in the gym, but ultimately, if people just got stronger, that's going to benefit you. You know, I think people overcomplicate stuff. And
are you familiar with like Phil Daru?
No.
Or there's another guy named I think Charles Allen Price.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's somebody who gives away some great content on Instagram, some things that I'll follow along. Phil Daru is kind of in that same category where similar training styles, I'd say. Phil Daru does a lot more of like one-legged jumps, like broad jumps, things like that. How does that, I guess that kind of leads me to my question is like, what does your training schedule typically look like, your 3 lifting days? Like, how do you break those up?
Yeah, so on a Monday is plyos, bench and upper body. Wednesday is plyos, squats and deadlifts. And then a Thursday is incline bench and upper body.
Interesting. Okay, so you're doing jumps 2 days a week.
Yep.
And what does that typically look like for you? Are you doing like, you know, we're starting seated on the...
So it varies. Right now, I'm doing... So on a Monday, I've got broad jumps. So I do broad jumps. I do broad jumps, single leg bounds, lateral skater jumps on a Monday. On a Wednesday, I do depth jumps. I do jump like plyo lunges, and vertical jumps.
Interesting. Okay. And are you keeping track of this, or is it just like you jumping for max distance or max height? Like,
so like on the depth jumps, I'm like, you know, trying to have minimal contact time with the floor, jumping for max height. Yep. I don't measure it. I've not got anything to measure it by, but it's more just, you know, like I'm just trying to jump for max height. Like broad jumps, again, trying to jump as far as I can. Vertical jumps, trying to jump as high as I can. And then things like lateral skater jumps and single leg bounds, I'm trying to jump like as far as I can, but I'm also trying to be like, as like fluid as during them as well. Like maybe like, like on a single leg bound. Like now I'm at a point where I can execute it properly and jump, as far as I can. So say like single leg bound, I'm doing like 5 in a row. So I'll try and cover as much distance as possible. But I'd say like when I first started, I wasn't trying to jump as far as I can, because I actually say like, I was just trying to like build the coordination and the balance with it as well.
Absolutely. And when you say a depth jump, are you talking about like standing on top of the box, stepping down, and then immediately...
Yeah, and then the minute you hit the floor, try and have as minimal contact time as possible, and then reversing and jumping up.
Can you explain like what is it about that? Because I've seen this become more and more popular, especially in athletic trainings. What is it about the, whether it's like either sitting on the box and then immediately popping up and jumping as high as you can, or stepping down from the box and then jumping with this little contact?
Yeah,
like what is that?
I think with plyos in general, again, I think they became like very popular recently, and I think it's almost like people will tell you that they'll cure fucking cancer. I think plyos are important, but what honestly I've noticed mostly from plyos is, one, I'd say that it's improved my joint health. I'd say like my ankles, my feet, my knees, my hips, I'd say are more robust and way less like sore. I'd say like I don't really get, I get touch wood, not to tempt fate, but like my knees, I'd say like, like I don't really get achy knees anymore, don't get really like achy hips, stuff like that. Secondly, I'd say improve my movement quality a lot. I feel like, like just like my ability to move is far better. And I'd say it's improved my mobility a lot as well. Has it made me more powerful? Potentially, probably has made me more powerful, yeah, but it's not one of these things where I'm not actually that, like I'm not using it to try and be like, the most powerful person ever, or jump ridiculously high or anything like that. It's more what I'm using it for is like, like I feel like it really helps like my joint health, it helps improve my mobility and my movement quality, and I think that it's really, especially like the single leg stuff, has really improved like my balance and my coordination as well. So all of that obviously makes me a much better athlete, but like I don't think it's one of these things where like I think nowadays people think that it shouldn't be, people are just spending their whole workout doing plyos and stuff. And I think the thing is as well, people forget the big thing about power is that it's just strength applied quickly. If you're not strong, you got nothing to apply quickly. So I see people that like, are squatting 60 kilos and they spend like their whole workout, or they have days just doing plyos, and I'm like, but you squat 60 kilos. Yeah. How powerful can you actually be? You squat 60 kilos.
Yeah. Maybe you should focus on the strength portion.
Maybe if you weighed 30 kilos, then okay, yeah, you'd be super powerful. But you're like 80 kilos, 90 kilos, and you squat 60, you're not going to be powerful.
Yeah.
You maybe, not saying not to do plyos, because again, it's like you don't have to just cut them out, but maybe they're not the most important thing. Maybe you should spend a lot more time just focusing on actually getting stronger as well.
And then go back.
And yeah, I think maybe just, I think a lot of people actually are all they do is plyos, and they think plyos are the greatest thing ever, and they're really good and they're important, and I program them for almost everybody, and I do them myself twice a week, and I take them seriously. But in my opinion, for grappling, I think it's secondary to strength training.
Absolutely. How do you feel about like the landmine workouts? I think that's another thing that's pretty popular in like MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, like combat sports, like the landmine setup. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
where the bars like put into the thing. Yeah. I mean, again, I think I'm of the opinion of, if you can take an exercise and you can perform it safely, and you can repeatedly do it over a long period of time, and you can progressively overload it, then that's a good movement to do. But again, it's like, could maybe doing like, some land, like, some work there, could that be implemented into your week? Absolutely. But if it's the only thing you're doing, is that your best use of time? Probably not. And again, it's one of these things where I think people get so attached. It's like, all I lift is kettlebells, or all I do is this, or I only do functional training, which doesn't make any sense because everything's functional training. The whole, if you're doing something to improve a function, that's functional training. So.
Yeah, I guess if people are in the mindset of like, take for instance, like, when am I going to do a lat pull down in jiu-jitsu? Mm-hmm. And I think people get attached to that mindset trying to figure out the correlation to the lift, from the lift to their activity.
So I think the mistake people make is that they try and make their lifting sport specific, but lifting isn't sport specific and it never will be sport specific. The only thing you should be doing that's specific to your sport is the sport itself. If you want to get better at doing your sport, you go and do your sport. When you're in the gym, I'm not lifting, I'm not doing a movement thinking, right, this is going to make this thing in jiu-jitsu better. It's a case of, you're in the gym, you want to build muscle, build strength, improve your mobility, you want to get fitter, and it's really that simple. And if I go into the mats and I'm got more muscle, I'm stronger, I'm fitter, I'm more robust, I've got better mobility, I'm stronger through like different joint angles, I'm going to be able to then like elicit that strength through like while doing my sport. But like, you're not going to do a lat pull down in the gym, but if by doing lat pull downs and doing deadlifts and doing squats, it makes your whole body bigger and stronger, you're going to then be able to, use that strength while doing the sport. Because the thing is that every single movement you do requires strength. You're picking up a cup requires strength. Sitting up off of a seat, you look at an old person, it's like, why did they struggle to get off the seat? It's like because they've got no muscle and they're weak. So it's like everything requires strength. And how much strength something requires is, it doesn't require much strength to do that, but it still requires strength. So it's like any form of movement in grappling requires a form of strength. So if I am bigger and stronger all over, and I'm just a bigger, stronger, better athlete, then I can perform every single skill better.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's
as simple as that.
Yeah, it's really, no, I'm never going to do a lat pull down in grappling, because of course not. But if you don't think that you're using your back strength, then that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, because if you took away your lats, you couldn't move. For you to move and perform any movement, any technique, any skill, it requires a form of strength. And if you can, over time, you have more strength, more muscle, and you're a bigger, stronger, fitter athlete, you're going to be able to do the movements better.
It sounds like it just kind of, turned into like this marketing ploy.
Oh, it definitely is.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because, I think everybody starts to kind of fall for it, right? Like, the UFC PI has that machine where it's kind of like a chest press, but it's for one arm, and it's from a standstill from this position, like a bench press, but it's for like punching power, essentially, right? Where you're pushing through it. It's almost kind of like a landmine press, kind of similar to that. And it is kind of interesting. Like, it looks like maybe that would translate more than something else.
Yeah,
but
I disagree. I just don't think it. I just don't think it does.
Yeah.
I just really don't think it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense when you break it down the way that you just broke it down.
I just don't think it does. I'm not in the gym. I lift weights to improve my strength and my athleticism, my cardio, my mobility, and then all the benefits. There's no such thing as injury proofing, because if you could injury proof, that means you'd never get injured.
Yeah.
But you can increase your resilience to injury. Also, another thing as well is the bigger and stronger you are, if you get injured, you're going to deal with that injury better, and you're going to recover from that injury better. There's so many benefits that's then going to benefit my grappling. But it's like, I'm never doing a movement in the gym thinking this is going to make me better at this movement in grappling. If I want to get better at that movement in grappling, I just go and do grappling.
Yeah.
That'd be like, it would literally, think about this. Let's just say, I want to get better at driving my car. Would I go and drive my motorbike? No. But let's say you had two people that have never driven a car before, but one person had driven a motorbike for 5 years.
They're going to be...
The person driving the motorbike is going to be better than the person driving the car. Why? Because they've got road experience.
Yeah.
So they've got more experience on the road, so they're going to be better at driving a car than the person that's never driven a car, because they're going to be more comfortable on the road. They're going to know, what to, like, you know, they're going to have road awareness. They're going to just have a better understanding of driving. But they're still not going to be better than if they'd just driven a car for 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I want to get better at grappling, if I want to improve a specific skill in grappling, I'd just go and do that skill. That's what's important.
Yeah.
But
when you put it that way.
But again, it's like, you can only get, skills will only take you so far. Eventually you need to realise that this is a sport. It's a combat sport, and there's more to combat sports, and there's more to sports than just skill, because bodies are involved. So, you know, the reality is, if let's say you took, you know, there's some, like, you know, 12-year-old kids out there that are competing, and I watch them and I'm like, that's been doing jiu-jitsu since before they can even remember doing jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, that 12-year-old kid is so much better at jiu-jitsu than I'll ever be.
Dude, it's crazy.
But I bet you if me and that kid had a match, I bet you I would win.
Yeah.
Bet you I would win. And it's not because I'm better at jiu-jitsu, but it's because maybe, I don't know, I'm 100 kilos more than them, or I'm way stronger, or, you know, even, like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, some 66 kilo guys out there, right? Where, like, the worst 66 kilo guy at ADCC is going to be infinitely more skillful than me, right? That's just a fact. Because, you know, obviously as weight classes goes up, generally skill level tends to come down a little bit. And it's not to be, like, derogatory or to myself, but realistically speaking, I'd say probably every single person at 66 kilos is going to be way more skillful than me. But the reality is that if I had a match with someone that's 66 kilos, they're way more skillful than me, but I'm probably going to beat them, and it's not because I'm better at jiu-jitsu than them, it's because I'm basically twice their body weight.
Yeah. We got to get a hold of Dominic Mejia.
You know? But it's like, the thing is, like, I'm like double their body weight, and I'm just so much bigger and stronger, and it's such an advantage.
Yeah, if you lock your hands, it's not going to be a good time.
Like, there's a reason why weight classes exist. Now, that's not saying there aren't people that are lighter than me that would beat me. There absolutely 1,000,000% is, because, again, their skill level maybe so far surpasses my skill level, my strength can't multiply, it doesn't make it up. But then again, that's where, like, I'm not just saying, like, oh no, I'm just in the gym trying to get stronger. It's like, no, I train twice a day and I'm trying to develop my skills as much as possible, because they're just as important as me trying to be as strong as possible. But I just think they're equally important.
Yeah, you're just saying the odds are in your favor, right? Like, you, like, just from having the size and the strength, and your skill is obviously not bad as well. So if you go against a smaller dude in the 66, like, your odds of you winning is higher strictly just off of those intangibles.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, but then you have Dorian who beat Felipe Pena, and it's just like crazy.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So, like, you know, there's all, you know, it's not me saying I'm every single person. Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, there's going to be someone out there at 66 kilos that's way more skillful than me. Well, Ross Nichols, for example, he weighed 77. When I beat him, I'd only been training for like 2.5 years. Now, he was infinitely more skillful and infinitely better at jiu-jitsu than I was. But I beat him. Why? The only reason is because I was way bigger and stronger. Yeah. But I still, you know, I didn't leave there thinking I'm better at jiu-jitsu than Ross Nichols, because I wasn't.
You just left.
I just was way bigger and stronger, so I was able to win. Yeah. But I wasn't better at jiu-jitsu than him. But if you'd scaled Ross Nichols up to my size, he would have beat the absolute living shit out of me. Yeah. So that's the thing. So you need both. Yeah. Because there's people that are my size that are that good. Yeah. So,
right? You know. Like Big Dan. Yeah. You know, Felipe, Kynan, like these guys who are very skillful for their size.
But also enormous and super strong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like if you run a simulation 100 times, you know, like how many times does Dorian beat Felipe in that situation, right? Or if you take Felipe fresh versus after being in the second match, right? Like if you run that simulation out of 100 times, I'm sure percentage-wise, it's probably going to go in Felipe's. But right then, it was just Dorian's time, Dorian's moment. He was.
I think he is a nightmare matchup for anybody.
Dude,
to be
he's
fair. Yeah, like I think, like to be fair, I think like I don't think it matters who you are.
He's he's just
yeah,
just a little Energizer Bunny dude that just doesn't stop. He just won ADCC Miami this weekend.
I saw him post that. Yeah.
Man, I'm just glad that they invited Dominic. So that way, at least there could be someone who can maybe slow down Dorian. Because, I mean, they are just like, who's going to slow him down? Who's going to wrestle with him in that division? It's just going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
He is he's just a torture device, just him himself. He is the row machine. Like, he is the air bike. Like, that's Dorian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just nuts, man. Dude, I think breaking it down that way, I think that's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I just think, again, it's you're not, doing a row because I'm like, this is going to make me better doing this skill. It's just like, no. Every single technique in the whole world of jiu-jitsu requires some form of strength to apply that skill. Mm-hmm. It's just a fact. To move your body, to just lift your arm requires a form of strength. It just does. You need, if you didn't have any strength, you had no muscle, you couldn't pick your arm up. So if you become a bigger, stronger, more athletic, fitter version of yourself, you're going to be able to perform your skill set better. Even if your skill set doesn't improve, it just stays the same, but you become bigger, stronger, fitter, faster, you're going to be better. Or if you become bigger, stronger, fitter, faster, and get more skillful, you're going to be even better. It's just both.
Yeah. What's your go-to submission?
I'm not fussy. I'll take whatever comes to me.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing?
I honestly don't have one. I'd say probably what I get most is probably like head and arm choke from me.
That's what I was about. That wasn't surprising.
Yeah, I'd say like a head and arm. It used to be Kimura, but I'd say honestly, as I've gotten better and the people I've go up against have gotten better, I'd say Kimuras are probably, I do tend to do them less. I'd say honestly probably like a head and arm choke from me. It's probably what I generally get.
Those are probably the two most stereotypical answers you could have given.
Yeah.
Not putting no one in the cross ashi with double trouble, hitting them with a clover.
I'll take what I get.
Yeah. Are you big on the legs or go into the legs at all? Or
I would say like if I'm like in a competition, I'm doing my A game. I would say that that probably wouldn't be like my A game path to victory, but like obviously with training at Kingsway and even just back home, honestly like such a huge portion of training is dedicated to it, but mostly because it's, if I get put there, I need to know how to defend it. So I wouldn't say it's like my A game at all, but I'd say that like I spend like a huge amount of time in those positions. Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm sure that's one of the other things that coming over here that you got way better at as well.
Yeah,
leg lock defense.
Yeah,
because you're in the room where people are the greatest leg lockers in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many of them.
Yeah,
that room is just filled with some of the best guys, best leg lockers in particular.
Yes, yeah.
And so that's got to be a huge benefit and a huge peace of mind.
Yeah,
knowing if you can make it through a whole day session at Kingsway and not get leg locked, the chances of you getting leg locked somewhere else
is a little bit lower.
is lower. That's got to be a peace of mind knowing, all right, at least I'm not going to get my leg turned upside down.
Yeah,
it's good confidence to have.
And like even back home, like I made it like after that trials where I got tapped in legs, I made it like a really huge priority to really take it very seriously.
Yeah, a lot of like leg locking positionals, just every starting
day.
In the attempt.
Literally every day. Yeah.
How often are you still doing particular like leg locking positionals now?
Every session.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally every session.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so a lot.
Dude, I'm excited to watch you at ADCC. I'm gonna have to go back and do my own due diligence and watch some of your other matches. I'll be honest, I have never seen them.
Very okay.
Honestly, I just figured you'd be a great person to talk to, which you totally were. That story at the beginning is insane.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, the whole journey is just fascinating, right? And then like you're just not a guy who half-asses nothing.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, but look at you. Look at the things that you've done, that you've created, the stories that you have, the stories that you can tell, right? And like we were talking about earlier, where if if y'all choose to ever have kids, like the stories you're going to be able to tell and the way that you will be able to lead that child down a path.
Hopefully they're a little bit better behaved.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Unfortunately, I think my dad was very, very, very badly behaved. He's a lot more intelligent than me, so I don't think he had those issues. He's a very, very, very smart guy.
Yeah.
But I think he was atrocious as a kid. He might have even been worse than me, to be
really.
Maybe, I don't know. I'd need to ask him, but I think he might have been. So it's maybe a little bit genetic as well.
Yeah.
So maybe
Are your parents like people who work out pretty frequently? Are they fit? No, really.
Well, no, my dad, no, not at all. My dad's like like the hardest working person I've ever met. But he was like a businessman. But he would like leave the house at like 7 a.m, not get back till like 8 o'clock at night, working 7 days a week. Like he was like the hardest working person I've ever met in my life, like ever. Like it was insane. But no, not into training. My mum, no, now she is. Like the past 2 years, like my mum actually lost like a lot of weight, and like she goes to the gym. I mean, I think it probably varies, but honestly, I think she's probably going to the gym like 4, 5, 6 days a week. So she trains a lot now. But like growing up and stuff, no, not into sports or training or anything like that.
Interesting. So you didn't really necessarily see anybody like lifting. Where did the obsession come from?
I don't know.
That's so interesting. But you at least still saw someone in your life with an insane work ethic.
Oh yeah, my dad's work ethic was
right.
It's like genuinely the hardest working person I've ever met.
So you saw the work ethic, and then I'm imagining you probably saw results from the work ethic, and then you tied those two things together and realized that anything that you chose to do, as long as the effort was there and the work ethic was there. I remember, I can't remember when I heard this, but one of my favourite things was, and I'm going to paraphrase, but Michael Phelps basically, had a speech, and he said that, you work so hard and do so much work and dedicate so much to whatever it is you want to do that it would be unreasonable that you don't become successful. Like you're doing so much and working so hard that if you weren't to be successful, it's actually unreasonable. I remember thinking like, I like that. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I love that.
That's
and his quote's probably way better than that. So, his speech probably way better than that, but that's like the takeaway where he's like, if you just work so so hard and dedicate so much time over a long period of time, it's almost impossible for you not to become successful.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm a big believer in that for
Hell
sure.
Hell yeah. I love that. Let's end it there. That's a good one. Hopefully next time we do this, you're living here in the US.
Yep, my wife will be here too, so that'll be a bit better too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm literally just like trapped in an Airbnb.
Is that where you stay the entire time?
Where I'm right now, yeah, I'm just in an Airbnb. Is it Manor? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why so far? Just because of the price?
I don't know. Just
that's so far.
Yeah, it's like a 30-minute drive from Kingsway.
Yeah, okay. That's not too bad then.
It's not too, it's like,
okay.
Basically I just looked up, or when I say my wife looked up like, places for me around there, and that was like a 30-minute drive from Kingsway, and I'm like, well, that's honestly not bad at all, and it's like a 30-minute drive from the Big Tech's, like the lifting gym.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, honestly, that's not bad at all. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I didn't realize that was the middle of nowhere, but
it's a little. Yeah, you're like way out there on the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. But I mean, I guess given the training session times for Kingsway, you probably don't hit traffic because you're going in the opposite direction of people.
I mean, first class is at 9 a.m. So up 9 a.m. and it's like it takes half an hour to get there. There is traffic, but it's
Even with the traffic, not too bad.
It's not bad at all.
Are you coming up like 290 to 183?
Oh, I have no clue.
Just follow the GPS.
Just follow the GPS.
Fuck yeah.
And then train, first class, leave, get some food, sit in the car park, in my car, wait for the next class to start at 1 p.m, train 1 p.m, leave, go home, get some food, go to the gym, lift weights.
What's your go-to food place in between first and second session? Fuck yeah.
P. Terry's in the same parking lot?
Yeah, no, so there is P. Terry's in the same parking lot, but I've never had it, and...
it's better than In-N-Out.
Is it?
Personally.
What I like about the In-N-Out burgers is like I just go and just get 2 In-N-Out burgers, and then I'll grab like a can of Monster, and then I'll get and it's like, because there's not that much time between the sessions, there's maybe like 1.5 hours between the sessions. So what I like is like I can eat those 2 burgers, but you don't feel like weighed down. Whereas I feel like sometimes with other fast foods, I feel like other fast food, maybe you go in and you feel like all sluggish and weighed down.
Yeah, no, P. Terry's is very similar quality wise.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's worth a try. Like we eat P. Terry's.
Banana bread.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we eat P. Terry's probably once a week. It's
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give that a go.
It's a good go. The difference between P. Terry's and In-N-Out is like you can add pickles, bacon, grilled onions. I guess you can add grilled onions at In-N-Out, but you can add pickles, bacon. Yeah, you can get pepper jack cheese, and you can also get grilled jalapenos.
Right. Okay.
So there's just a few different additives. It's almost, I mean, they're almost like a 1-to-1 restaurant.
Right. Okay.
It's almost the exact same thing, exact same style of burger. It's just that P. Terry's has a few different things that you can add to your burger that might enhance that for you a little bit.
I'll need to give that a go.
It's good. It's fucking delicious. And their fries are better than In-N-Out's.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say I love the fries from In-N-Out. So
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the P. Terry fries are better.
Right. Okay.
They're very similar in style though. Same thickness, same style of cut. So yeah, I think it's worth a shot. And P. Terry's is a cool fucking business. They just sold so it's privately owned.
Okay.
And the owners, their husband and wife, and they just sold the business back to the employees. Oh. And so the employees all now get profit sharing.
Right, okay.
So super cool people. It's mostly just an Austin burger joint.
Right, okay.
Because In-N-Out was never here. It didn't come here until maybe a couple years ago.
Right, okay.
When like the mass migration from California to here, then In-N-Out started to show up as well.
Showed up, okay.
So prior to that, it was just P. Terry's or Whataburger. And to your point, you eat Whataburger and it's fucking it's like afterwards your gut's in shambles. It's absolute trash.
Yeah.
P. Terry's is
better.
Is infinitely better. It's just like In-N-Out where you can eat it. Because I mean, it's the reason why I looked at it and I was like, "That's crazy," is because I went down to Jiu-Jitsu World League in San Marcos, and I had to weigh in, but I hadn't eaten, and so I was like, my normal order is 2 double doubles and some fries and a milkshake. And I was like, I just won't get the milkshake and I'll compete in a few hours. It'll be fine.
You feel terrible.
Bro, I got 2 double doubles and the fries, and I was like, bruh. Why did I do this?
I just get 2 hamburgers. Just
2 singles,
just
really?
2 single hamburgers.
Why 2 singles and not 1 double-double?
More carbs.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, honestly, probably
just
more
getting
carbs.
more buns.
Yeah, more carbs.
That's valid.
And then sometimes if we get away short from the morning session and I've got like maybe 2 hours, I'll get fries too. But if there's like less than 2 hours, I'll skip the fries.
Yeah. You ever hit the smoothie place next door?
No, never. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
No reason.
Just have it.
I just haven't. I don't know.
Oh, you got to.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
The lady right next door to Kingsway.
To be fair, Taz has told me several times about it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm a very creature of habit.
Yeah, I was about to say, you are routine and that's it.
Like I go to In-N-Out.
I respect it.
I just do that. I don't know. I'm not autistic, but it's very autistic.
With your routine. Well, it's worth P. Terry's because it might save you a 15-minute drive.
That's true.
Because In-N-Out, regardless of which direction you're going, it's quite a drive.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a drive.
It's like 10 minutes each way. Yeah. So
a little bit of a drive. So P. Terry's might save you a drive, so it's worth a shot. And then the smoothie place next door, I mean, it is pretty phenomenal. She's been helping like bodybuilders and people get prepped for a long time. So she makes really, really high quality smoothies. She also sells raw milk, so if that's your thing as well. So she has a cool shop.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. Mark, I appreciate you doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
This was super fun, dude. That was a blast. It was really cool to learn about you. I had never met you. I just knew that people I know and I really enjoy you. And so I was like, I got to talk to Mark. And
awesome.
I saw you were back in town and I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you.
I really appreciate you coming on. Tell everybody where they can find you, how they can follow you, and where they could sign up for your coaching if they choose so.
Yeah, so on Instagram, my personal page is just Mark MacQueen too, and my coaching page is Mark MacQueen Coaching. Just follow me and find me on Instagram and you'll be able to find everything there.
Fuck yeah. There you have it, folks. Go follow him. Hit him up for coaching if you need some strength and conditioning help. He's obviously massive, so he can attest to what he is preaching. Fuck yeah, dude. I appreciate it. And y'all, we'll see you next week. Thank you.